Hey guys, it's Tom. It is Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Oh no, I'm competing with Nobis's Friday night radio show from the forum that he does. I'm going to do a season preview show for the 1989 Summer Sprint League that we have underway. The draft ended a few days ago. I think the draft went about 7 or 8 days. I think it was the fastest draft we've had in terms of days. Only Dennis could confirm that. So maybe he can, maybe he won't, but it feels that way. And he does a tremendous job putting the file together, getting responses from people. And we were playing in no time. I think people started playing maybe on Wednesday. That might have been the first day. I was looking for a game earlier, but I couldn't get one tonight. And I wanted to do something Stratomatic football related. And I figured this league, if I'm going to do a season preview show, I better do it now. Guys are playing games, and it'll soon be outdated. Almost as soon as it started, if that makes any sense. So basically, I knew I forgot to do something. I was supposed to set up my grid so that I would be able to make sure that my win-loss projections for the league ended up at 500. But and I got to keep track of those anyway. So I'm going to go mute myself for about 60 seconds. If this is the video, you can fast forward for those 60 seconds, and I'll be right back. You can do a shorter show tonight, hopefully under 2 hours, maybe 5 minutes a team, in and out. Thanks, bye. I'll be back very soon. All right, so that was probably longer than a minute, but I'm a little tired. So hopefully I'll be on my best behavior, but I probably won't be because I'm tired. Anyway, what I do is I go through each team. I'm trying to stay focused, get some good tips. When I asked for some feedback about a year back, Jay Villing with some excellent tips. No surprise, excellent coach, excellent life strategy, probably. But one thing is to try to stay focused. I have a tendency to go all over the place and sprawl. So I don't want this to be a draft recap show. I mean, I did a draft recap show, mostly just the first round and a couple of other tidbits. But I'm a little tired, so I can't even remember all the options here to go through everything. So I'm going to try and stick with what the team looks like and make a prediction on the team, and probably sprinkle in some of my own rankings for some of the units, which is generally helpful. Maybe look at some of the combos when that's instructive. Who cares with the offensive line? Offensive line is very important, but it's just not an exciting thing to have in your spreadsheet because get the defensive line. Get something on defense. Offensive line seems so static in comparison. And offensive line is very important. I believe in having a strong offensive line in general. Everything is important, So I'm not minimizing the importance of the offensive line. Just not exciting, I would say. All right, so I guess I should probably go down by standings because otherwise I'll skip somebody. So that happened in the SSFA draft recap show, which was not good, and I heard about it from one of the guys who's no longer in the league, unrelated, I should say. So I guess we'll start with the Dunedin Osprey. As you can see, some guys have played games. Jason Owens, like a madman, 6 games played in about 48 hours, 3-3. Anthony of the Rochester Jeffersons moving on up. He's going to hear a lot of that type of joke. With 4 games played, I've got 3. No shrinking violet myself. And I probably wouldn't mind playing more. I wouldn't mind having 4 or 5 in by tomorrow. I'm just in the mood to play some games. I've only got 2 left in one other league. But I guess that my spreadsheet's ready to play. I don't have them ready for everyone yet, so that's why I need some advance notice. That's why when you'll see me say, "Hey, I can play a game with like 1 hour notice," it means I'm up for a game, but I need to prepare a spreadsheet. It doesn't take an hour, but I like to allow myself some wiggle room. So I have spreadsheet templates, and I got to punch in basically like your offensive skill player numbers and your individual defensive numbers, and then I'm good to go. And then I like to analyze them and make some decisions. But anyway, Dunedin Osprey, that's Brian with a Y, Dr. Brian. No. Yes. Right? He's Dunedin, isn't he? Man, I get these guys confused all the time. Those two, Brian and Brian. No, I think Dr. Brian is Erie because he lost to Joe and he sent out the whatchamacallit, the box score. Yeah, he's Erie. So in that case, it's Brian Fulmer, who gets the leadoff spot. Erie, you'll have to wait to the end of the show. Sorry, Brian. So Brian Fulmer, it's Fulmer or Fuller. So an F. Be full. Anyway. So he's 1-0, 27-10 victory over Georgia. Georgia running game struggling. Good job by Jason to get to 3-3. It's got the Philly halfbacks and the Philly fullbacks. In this era, like mid to late 80s, you want the Philly no backs. You don't want any of those guys, generally. Like after Wilbert Montgomery. Basically between like Wilbert Montgomery and Charlie Garner, there's not a lot going on in terms of good running back cards for Philly. Keith Byers was a good complimentary card, but that's about it, really. You can get by with that Byers card as a compliment. Can run a little bit against run, very good receiving, of course. So Brian has got Warren Moon. This has got to be who I was talking to. So he's got Warren Moon. His running game doesn't look that strong. Those Houston halfbacks aren't going to get the job done. A lot of fumbles, not a lot, and I think, and not great yardage. Robert Peter's a pretty good fullback card, but doesn't have a lot of carries. So I know this is an interesting. It's got Buford McGee behind him. A little bit of guess wrong running. I think he might have a high fumble too. But it's a really interesting. Nice receiving. It should be a really interesting season this summer. Because as I alluded to in the draft recap show, it's sort of like this is the year that like everybody got screwed, you know? It's like nobody. We'll find out as I go through the teams here, but everyone's got like bad warts in the team. It was 18 teams out of 28. And like I said the other night, you only had like 8 like good quarterbacks. Like half the league has got undesirable quarterbacks. There was like 5 or 6 really good running cards, maybe 4 or 5 really good running cards, like some other useful ones, but some near the bottom weren't that great. Yeah, you know, so like if you have a team in this rule set, if you have a team with like really no good running cards, very hard to move the ball. Very hard. And then there's a lot of pass rush. Only 2 teams that can pass block. Kicking isn't very good. The linebackers are generally pretty hellacious, like in a good way. A lot of our receivers with good deep threat cards, but a lot of interceptions on a lot of these quarterbacks. So just really kind of like everyone's giving up. Like 2 guys of poor pass defense. I mean, everyone, probably every team's got some stuff you're going to look at and go, oh boy, I don't know about that. Every one of us is probably looking at our own roster that way. So let's get on with it. So, yeah, Warren Moon quarterback, and you slipped to the second round. I think I had him number 3 overall. Lost around 2 to 7, 4 yards or better. But max, very good flat pass card, not maxed. Pretty good short pass. I like the wrong, pretty good long pass. Better than you might think. 5 and 9, 8, 13. The long pass wrong number could be a little higher. Interceptions are pretty reasonable for the short pass and the flat pass right for this season. But basically my formula is this card came out as I think the 3rd best behind Joe Montana and Jim Everett. It doesn't look that great with the naked eye. 1, 3, 6, 10, 14. I'm probably giving him about 10 units out of 36. So a quarter of the 11 must runs, for like 2 or 3 completions more, which gets you up to about 16 plus, which is very nice. And 21 in the short pass wrong. So the short pass is good. The flat pass is real good. I talked in the draft recap show about how this particular season that we're playing, and we're playing 18 out of 28, which has a lot to do with it also. It's 3-4 heavy. I think we only have 6-4-3 defenses. So 2/3 of the teams are playing 4-3s. And a lot of these 4-3s are real good with 5s and 6s. A lot of units, LB units had at least 1 linebacker 6. It's just going to be hard to run a flat pass offense, but I still think the flat pass capability is important. If you can't throw flat, well, you're more susceptible to linebacker double teaming down the field. Linebackers are the line of scrimmage against your running game. And, of course, linebackers blitzing for the pass rush, and a lot of good blitzing, a lot of great blitzing linebackers in this set. You see that in the 80s. A lot of 3-4 defenses, a lot of 12 high asterisk linebackers. Anyone who grew up playing with those games knows that's what it's all about. And not a lot of pass blocking. So you can see there's a problem there. So you don't want to be West Coast probably and go flat pass first, but you want to have that flat pass capability in your arsenal. So I like that Moon is good flat and good short, and certainly more than good enough in the bomb that you got to respect it. So he's throwing all 3 levels. Turnovers are fairly low. So good stuff. Now, it doesn't mean you sit back and throw 40 times with Warren Moon. You're probably going to lose. But, look, quarterback's very important, obviously. It's good to have a good one. I was surprised he lasted to the second round. So I like Moon's card. But, this offensive line has got a 0 at right guard. That's the second high linebacker in 3-4. A 2 at left guard. I mean, that's you got 3 at right tackle. So Moon will be under duress if Brian's trying to throw short and long a lot. So normally then you got to see how to use the run instead of the pass. But outside of Del Pino, these other running cards, certainly at the halfback position, aren't very good. Even Alan Pinkett at a 4.8 average, but I mean, this off tackle, let him run wrong, is not doing much. He's known as a receiver, and he's pretty good at that. And Mike Rozier, I don't even think he did that great in the USFL, Mike Rozier. It was a big disappointment out of Nebraska, I think. The Peter's got a nice card, but the carries are so low. Only had 78 for the regular season, so that's, like 12 or something. Unfatigued. And he's pretty good. Pretty decent receiver as well. Buford McGee kind of okay, but this running game is just not going to sustain. It gets no help from the offensive line in the running game. Not going to sustain things for Brian and help Boone. You got Vance Johnson and Andre Reed. You got good receivers. You got Pete Holohan, a good tight end. I don't know. The second tight end is Damone Johnson, so I don't think you're going to see that. At 25 catches, 5.9 average. How does that happen? Score's a lot better than you think for a 5.9 receiving average. Maybe some 3 wide. Flip Johnson. 12.1 average. So you probably see a pro set, maybe a blocking back, fullback, because McGee can catch. Something like that. So I think this offense is going to struggle. Just really just not nearly enough decent running carries to take the pressure off of Warren Moon. Really not much pass blocking at all. So you just start firing flat passes into a 3-4, short passes downfield with the pass rush. It's tough. It's going to be tough. But they won the first game, 27-10. Defense is good and average. At least you're good against something. If you have some kind of offensive weakness there at quarterback, running back, you better be good at something. Good against the run, good against the pass, preferably against the pass, but at least be good against something. Now, the defense has got some real strength to it. 3-4 goes 6-5-0 on the defensive line, which is okay. And it's a nice pass rush, 7 and 11 in the ends, 5 at nose tackle. I mean, in this set, if you're in a 3-4 in this set, normally your linebackers will have good pass rush, and you can blitz at least one of them very regularly, and sometimes 2. Guys will alternate between like flooding flats or blitzing or standing around. So you can get a mix on you, and it's tough to catch them. But the Cleveland unit, linebacker unit, which is a great unit, 6'5", 6'5", does not have that kind of pass rush. It's got a 7 and a 3. So this rated defensive line, if you could have got a couple of good linebackers, or at least one real good linebacker with it, and you bring in Scott Davis as a nose tackle on third down, or if it was a 4-3 unit, I would be really, really excited with the pass rush. That's not going to happen with this team. But even so, the front 7 is very strong. 6'5" defensive line, 6'5" linebackers. I mean, it's tough to bring the right outside up on a perennial basis. A lot of good receiving halfbacks in this set. But he'll provide help some for Greg Townsend. And maybe slide Mike Johnson out. That does open up the inside run. And also with the 0 right end, one problem, you got the corner 6, which is great. The rest of the secondary is 4s. Almost everyone's got a backup defensive back 0. So 3 wide will be helpful. Nathan would love this. He's not playing this year. Doesn't like the older games. He said he doesn't know the players as well. So, but so it's a really good front 7, and his defense could play really well. I'll be interested to see if anyone can make him pay by, forcing him to come up against and support Greg Townsend with his 5, maybe sliding out the inside linebacker, and then he can't, then he's got less guys to drop into double coverage to help his 4s. So, you could do some left tackle left, you could do some line buck, some short passes to whomever you want, maybe even some looking against the 5. So it's hard to sustain offense, though, that way with the flat passing, but the running and the downfield passing certainly works. So it'll be interesting to see. This unit might play really well. It may struggle at times. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Special teams. And the early team, when I do these shows, the early teams, they always get more time. I just started the show. I'm full of energy. I'm going, and then like in the second half of the show, and you get like 90 seconds for your whole team. So I apologize for that. Opponent coverage isn't bad. The long game on punts. You're the worst punter for net yardage in the set, in the league probably. Return game, nothing much going on there. It's a pretty good field goal kicker, I recall. Yeah, that's important. So special teams are a bit of a mixed bag. This team is not bad, but the lack of the running game is going to be the big Achilles heel here. You just can't compensate for a lack of running game with a quarterback in these older seasons. You just can't. There's too much pass rush and stuff like that. But it did win the opener, so it's 1-0. 17 games season. I'm going to give him 7 and 10, I think, for Dunedin, the Osprey. Let me put that in here. Spell mode on. Type 7. 1-0. Go to sleep. I use voice speech recognition because of a disability. These are, of course, subject to change, these records. I always change them at the end. The Wisconsin break up the Badgers. 2-0, Butch. Full Shramick. 14-10 over Jason. 19-7 over Rochester. Rochester. Bradley Cunningham team. Only 17 points allowed for the Badgers in their first 2 games, which might be good on defense. I try to stay to under 5 minutes a team. He's a 3-4 that goes averaging good. That should play well. He's got Steve DeBerg at quarterback. Oh my! And Dalton. Now again, half of us have bad quarterbacks. Butch is in that half. As am I, Butch. As is Dennis. You're in good company. So we're all in good company. Half the league has got bad quarterbacks. That's all that was there. So, Dalton Hilliard, I wish he had a little bit of quarterback, of course. Again, these teams have all got like a lot of them have like numerous holes. That's just the way it was because we were drafting 18 out of 28 and the vicissitude of the set. It's this 4.9 interception percentage. This could be a problem. I had DeBerg on the low end of even the low end guys, which says I stole Vinny Testaverde from, which you could have taken the 7th round. Complaining about a quarterback I took in the 8th round, took the New England fullback tight end. That was more valuable to you. You can't complain then. It's 8th round. How are you going to complain? Butch said that he looked at it and said, well, you were the only one, Tom, you were the only one that could have taken him from me because you're the only one behind me that needed a quarterback. Well, yeah, but I needed a quarterback. He was the best one, and it was going to be the 8th round. In the 8th round, you're saying I'd bet Tom waits until the 9th round or 10th round, which I often do, and a lot of people do. And it's not that Vinny is great, but Vinny was the king of the dipshits. Like of all those like bottom 9 or 10 quarterbacks we're going to use, I liked him the best, only because his long pass wrong was so good. You have to respect it, And if you have to respect that long pass wrong, it's going to open up my running game and the rest of my offense, and I'll still take shots. So, Byron's ball, as I talked about at great length during the draft recap show. So DeBerg, Mushroom, thankful mercifully, only on a 3. Flat pass type card. You hate to see an interception on a 10, 2-6 on a flat pass. As your linebacker is high stepping his way, your cornerback probably high stepping into the end zone on that. Short pass, 10 right is almost clean. I played Jim Kelly the other night. He had something similar. Long pass, you do have 8 long pass right completions, 12 long pass wrong. So you do have an ugly nearly 6 units of clean pick on long pass right, but you still have the potential to scare somebody there. So this card's going to have some 3 or 4 interception games, as I thought would happen with Ferragamo. But also, like if you have a game with 1 or 2 picks, and you're not that scared of it, you might have a decent game with him. And he is 2-0. I'll be curious to see how much he's thrown in those 2 games. This Dalton Hilliard card I was very fond of, as I talked about in the draft recap show. I would have really liked my team if I gotten this card. Only 3.7 average on the season in the NFL. If you needed a number 1 running back, I had him actually as the number 5 overall number 1 running back, which incorporates things like fumbling and receiving. Surprised here I had him ahead of Thurman Thomas. This is just a mathematical formula, not on subjectivity, but as just an overall quality of the back for pure running, I still had it like 7th or 8th, something like that. So it was one of the last cards that I felt was a really good, like, okay, I can base my offense on this guy running the ball. I know the wrong is not great. Dennis might be like, hey, the right linebacker off tackle is so strong. Look at this. And the receiving. And I thought the move was to get this and pair it with the San Francisco fullback tight end, giving you Tom Rathman 6'7". Your off tackle left and Emron left will be greatly aided. And Tom Rathman's receiving. And Tom Rathman blocking against the free safety blitz and against all those Astros rushers with his 7. And then you've got, okay, they got to respect my halfback and my fullback receiving. So they can't put the outside linebackers as readily. I got the blocking bump for both front and pass. These guys can both catch short passes. They can both have deep on that card. Rather than a good short yardage right. Hilliard's got a good card right. I like the way that would have played together. And that's what I was going to go for. I forgot Hilliard, but I didn't get him. Having said that, Butch got himself a 6 blocking back if he wants to play to Tupu. Bob Perriman's at 5'5". I'm not in love with this running card for Bob Perriman, who I think has a high fumble. Receiving is not bad. Might see blocking back formation here. He's got Andre Rison and Billy Brooks who can catch it deep. He's got Eric Sievers. He's got a pretty decent card. Some nice yardage there. He's got, a good offensive line outside of the center 0, which is a shame because Hilliard's good at the middle. But he's also good off tackle right. So that'll probably be the bread and butter will be the off tackle. He's got someone, he'll pound it with Hilliard. I don't know, I think these other guys have high fumbles or they're not very good. So DeBerg's going to have to throw some, but he doesn't have to throw all the time. He'll probably get some garbage carries with some of these other guys, to keep it honest. So the offense could do a little bit. Not bad. It's good and average. Or averaging good. Averaging good. It goes 5-4-5. We all hate the nose tackle 5, but at least it's in the 3-4 era. Where you can plug with your inside linebacker. If you have a nose tackle 4, at least let your defensive ends be good. If you play a 3-4 with defensive end 5s or better, you don't really feel like you have to fear the end run as much. So that seems to work pretty well. I played a couple of teams like that in modern seasons. If I went 3-4, especially the modern seasons where the flat passing is so strong, if we're going to play a 3-4, I like to have good defensive ends against the run, because you can't protect against everything, right? But especially if you have a weaker nose tackle. But so nose tackle 4, that could be annoying at times, but I don't think it's that bad. A lot of people are really scared up, but I don't think it's that bad. You can coach around it. Does that, especially got Carl Mecklenburg 6 here. Now he wants to blitz him because he's a 12 inside linebacker, not covering anybody. But I'm sure he'll spend a fair amount of time in linebacker as well. Mecklenburg should be used as a weapon. You got Simon Fletcher as the 55-12-9. He could be blitzing and Mecklenburg sliding out. I like this secondary a lot. 5-5-6-5. Why wouldn't you like it? It was Pittsburgh's secondary that he took in the first round. They slid to him. As I said, there's draft recap show. And he'll play a lot of games with, maybe he brings up the 4 linebacker into the line, but maybe he blitzes Mecklenburg and then brings the safety into looking. And he's good against the pass with 5-5-6 in the secondary. You don't mind giving up an LP0 shot if you're good with good defenders. And everyone is covered by 5 or better on this defense. Even his extra defensive back is a 4, which isn't bad. In this set, you can blitz these 2 12s and bring the safety up. You can free safety blitz a 12 and the safety. So this defense might play real nicely. And I like this defense. And I'm big on strong defenses in this set. Even though it's a defensive set, they can play really, really well. They can play really, really well. Which is why if you have a good offense, it's even better, right? The opponent punt return is abysmal. I mean, you're going to have 43 a punch with 22 returns. He's got a really nice punt returner, a good kick returner as well. So that helps. The kicker is not too bad, Chris Jackie, outside of the opponent punt returns. So it's not a bad team. It's an interesting team to me. I can see them getting to 10-7 maybe. They have a lot of little things to do well. DeBerg is the lead anchor. Not a lead anchor. I think this team won't be bad. I can see them maybe getting to 10-7, but I'm going to predict 9-8. I like the way they're assembled. I mean, Hilliard can be your bread and butter. Brooks and Rising can make you pay deep. DeBerg's kind of okay, long pass wrong. Run blocking always helps when you're trying to run the ball. Defense might play real well. I think Butch probably coaches stronger in this rule set than he does in the modern seasons. So I could see 10-7. I think I'll go 9-8 though. I think it's gonna be a competitive year, and I don't want to give a 10-7 early when I'm not ready to give one yet. But I might, if I amend it at the end, it'll go up, not down. I can see them going 10-7. I kind of like this team a little bit. You know, DeBerg will have his games like all of us are bad quarterbacks, but I kind of like it. Wake up. Type 9. Type 8. Of course, remember also that it's a competitive league, and everyone's got at least a pretty good team. But I expect to see this team in the postseason. 9-8 is almost like a low level prediction, if you catch my drift. Lincoln County Letterman, that's yours truly. I'm 2-1. Well, I just sent out my recap, so I won't be doing recaps all year, but Brian did one the other night, and I said I should do a little recap. Lost to Anthony 23-17. Beat Dennis 20-0, a rare shutout. Dennis could have kicked the field goal at the end. He was going for a touchdown. I guess he felt it would have been unmanly to kick the field goal. But a little more go for the gusto. That's Dennis' style, right? Go big or go home. And I beat Jason 23-7. I think we've already covered like all three of Jason's losses. He's 3-3, so the rest of the show should be good for Jason. He lost to Wisconsin. That's Butch. He lost to me, Lincoln County. He lost to Dunedin. Yep. So we just go to 3 of Jason's losses. My own team, I was beating myself up in the draft recap show. My big mistake was taking the Detroit receivers over Cincinnati. The team's playing really well right now. The defense is playing lights out. They're 3-4 good. I'm going to start on that side of the ball because it's my team and I know them well. 4-5-5 defensive line with 5-5-6-6 linebackers. So easy to blitz this left outside into end run to help out there. I can slide the inside out if I want. A lot of times I just stand there and maybe move one linebacker up and down a little bit. 6 free safety, 6 corner. Again, like when you can, in this era, when you can shut down the flat pass, the other team has to be able to run the ball because you're just not going to pass short pass, long pass, guess right, all day long and have success. Generally, in this era, you're just not. Game was not designed for that. The numbers were terrible. Strat changed the rules. We're playing those rules, the old rules. So I mean, I do whatever I want on the left side of my linebackers. I got 6 in the middle linebacker, 6 right outside linebacker. And I probably pay a little more attention to the run than a lot of coaches. So these 4s in the secondary haven't been a problem so far. We'll see what happens. Offensively, I'm playing Byron's ball. I got Roger Craig and Christian Okoye to run. I got video launching bombs to the receivers. I'm not in love with. Wish I had the Cincinnati guys. I really like this team if I had the Bengals taking the Bengals receivers. Opponent punt return is shaky. So as the opponent kick return, I get as good of a kicker punter as I wanted. Field goal kicker, not too bad for this era, but not that great either. I was 2-7 on 12, then 13-22. So punt return is real good. He's got a fumble on 10. My formula is a counter for that, and said it was real good. We'll see if the mask bites me in the ass. He's already fumbled once in deep my own territory. Mel Gray's a very good kick returner card. So this is a weird team. I think I've had play with them yet. I'd be predicting like 8-9 and 9-8, but I'm 2-1 with them, and the way they're playing, I feel pretty confident going forward. They're going to do pretty well. Testaverde will have his games a lot of picks though. Opponent punt returns hurting. Punt return fumble could hurt a little bit. I'll go 10-7 for my team, which I think Dennis will say I was selling them short, but they're my team. I can sell them short if I want to. 10-7. 1-0. Type 7. Microphone off. And again, this is a little bit of a rushed show. A little bit, so I might not be spending a ton of time on it. Gerald, he's tied for 4th place at 0-0 with a cast of thousands. Hasn't played a game yet. Gerald, a little bit new to the online game. We've been talking a lot during the draft. And at the end of it, when it was over, he really enjoyed the draft recap show. Said he learned a lot there about the show. I'm not sure if Gerald bought the ratings disc. But that's one that you always want to make sure you get by hook or crook. Sometimes. Anyway, you want to make sure you gain access to the ratings file for that season. It's important. I should probably blow this up too, but I don't really want to. I think then I have to turn my head to the left more. I'm comfortable looking this way. Let's get Don Majkowski was his first round pick. I like Majkowski's card. I didn't have him. I was thinking moving ahead of him. I had Majkowski as like below like those top 7 guys or so. Look at that real quick here. I had Majkowski number 8. And I felt after the first 7, there was a bit of a drop off to Majkowski because of the interceptions. And I would have looked at him as like a great like 3rd round pick. So last week of the first round, a little earlier, I thought, huge upgrade though. I mean, you fall off a cliff, as I keep saying. After Majkowski at quarterback, you fall off a cliff. I mean, any Kenneth Bryant's got picks and not the great long pass, I don't think. And Chris Miller, Vinny, Dave Krieg, Jim McMahon, all these guys. Did someone take Jim McMahon? Ultimately, I think someone did. I liked him as kind of a ball control guy if he had a really good defense in a running game. So Majkowski's card looks nice. He passes the eye test. 7'9", 10. He's got some decent must-run ability, 2 to 76 yards or more. Long pass. I mean, come on. 8-15. He's got the 15 long pass wrong. 14 long pass wrong is nice. You get the 15 plus long pass wrong. Boy, make sure you can run the ball. Take some shots with that. It's real nice. And even gets right. He's got the 8 units and some must run. The picks can be a problem, but this is a nice card that probably would play better than my number 8 ranking possibly. But I like it, and he can throw flat. The 7 only doesn't bother me. I know some guys freak out about it. It doesn't bother me. I'll throw flat roll with that. I'm flat right with that. I do. I think Vinny has 7 only. Guys that give you empty zones give 7 only. Flat pass to the halfback who might be open because that 6-12-3 is blitzing. Now Joe looks for a game. Where were you 2 hours ago, Joe? I didn't play Dennis, so they didn't play it. The problem, though, is the running game here. Now, we took Greg Bell, who might be up reasonably high in the file, but it's not a really good card. It's a 7 short game right and wrong card. Usually these cards that have like a short game right and wrong on 6, 7, or 8, they don't have much else on the rest of the card. Strat doesn't even do this that much anymore, but in the 80s and 90s, you saw a lot of this. I think Bobby Humphrey's another one that has it. I actually like the rest of his card better, but I mean, like look at this. Line book wrong. 6 no yards, 7 short game, 8+1. I mean, from 4 through 10, all you've got is 0 +1 +2 +3. About the bad stuff. Off tackle wrong. 7 short game, 6 no yards, 8 -1, 9 +2, 10 no yards. I mean, it's chunky, and you're not even getting like these big like hits on like 4 and 11 for like 28 yards, like a long gain or something. So this card is just gonna sputter, and no one's scared of this card. No one's calling. You're not generating run calls with this card. In this rule set, you need a running card that's good enough wrong for guys to call run. And Bell's wrong card. It's not even that different than his right card. Why would I bother calling a run? So that you don't hit the 2 + 47. I mean, look at how literally 3 through 11 off tackle wrong, and linebacker like 3 through 7 are identical. 7, 8, 9 M runners and 7 through 10 M runners identical. Right and wrong. 4 through 10 M runners identical except for 6. -3 or +3. When you call runs, you don't get the +3 on the 6. So a hard time generating run calls with this card, and a hard time sustaining a ground game gets wrong. It's too chunky. It's not even a good chunky. He's not a great receiver. So I don't know when he took Greg Bell. It was certainly higher than I would have. All right, I try to be honest with these shows. Guys, don't think I'm criticizing. Don't think I'm trying to be mean is what I should say. I'm obviously criticizing. But don't think I'm trying to be mean. But I like to do a straight up honest show. And, let the chips fall where they may, as I say. Let guys get my honest opinion of their team, without being mean. So I took the Rams in the 3rd round. That was way too high for my money. You could have still had. What are some of the groups on after one? Well, the Jets halfback group certainly would have played much better. Like Majkowski, the Jets halfback group, the Jets have got some pretty good guess wrong runners. That would have worked nicely. Even this Atlanta halfback with John Settle is better. I think for number one backs, if you're worried about carries, but you don't have to be as much. I mean, Roger Craig wouldn't have really got the job then either. But I think the Jets would have been a much nicer group that was still available. I think Buffalo went the second round? Yep. Buffalo went in the second round, which is fine. Saints to just got on. The Washington one is not too bad. More of a grinded out right wrong. I kind of like that a little bit. The Jet one would have been the one, I think. Jets or Washington, probably Jets. McNeil and Hector guess wrong. And they're not bad. They will generate run calls, and then you have to try and throw guess right with Majkowski. He's got some good blocking here. So I don't know when he took that offensive line, but he was taking offensive skill units. Took the Kansas City fourth round, which is the top of the round because he was the last pick of the draft. And they were maybe the third offensive line taken. So if you're gonna take all offensive units to start your team, my running back's got to be better than this. So this is a problem. But the run blocking will help. The pass blocking is still not that great because there's only two good pass blocking units. Miami and Washington, the only ones with more than 1.7. So he'll be subject to sacks. He's got the three receivers from Washington, which is very nice. We'll see if he goes 3 wide, 1 running back, or 3 wide, 2 running backs. The tight end, Ed West from Green Bay, is not very good. Clint Didier is probably Washington. Not one of his better years. He had some good averages some other years. So probably 3 wide receiver, 2 running back. With Ricky Sanders, the number 3 guy. They all caught for over 1,000 yards. Ricky's got a really nice card. Maxed out short, 3.7, 12.18 long. Art Monk, who was one of my favorite players at this time, maxed out flat and short, 9.15 deep. Both these guys got long games of the card. Gary Clark was always the deep play threat in this group. Maxed out short, only 12.18 deep for Gary. I would have predicted 15.21. So he'll take his shots, throwing short and long, and maybe he'll have some success there. Because I think Majkowski's code is good. He's going to get the receiver readings. He's got more blocking than the rest of us. But, with Greg Bell, it might be hard. Cleveland Gary's got a decent card. Guess wrong, I believe. It's one of those fake short gain cards. Which aren't too bad, but I think his fumble might be high. I don't recall. Then I think the defense, averaging against the run, poor against the pass. 2 teams got stuck with a poor pass defense. Dennis was thinking, like late in the draft, he was looking at it and saying that it may have been inevitable. I don't know how inevitable it was or not. I know it's certainly a threat. So you got to do whatever you can to avoid it. Gerald and Rick Byron's got them. Rick's was a bit of a mistake. Rick's used to playing autumn wind in those types of leagues where the formulation is different. So there's a lot of guys who play in the so-called double counting draft league defense card leagues. And if you're in multiple of those leagues, you got to watch the threshold. They're usually the same, but Dennis has them a little different for this league because there's fewer teams. Autumn wind's got 30 teams in it. So they're going to make it a little easier to get to average or good because you have 30 teams instead of 18. That's 18 out of 28. So I think Rick was thinking a threshold of 23, told me. And that's what resulted in him getting the poor. I think at least one guy was probably going to get poor no matter what. That might have been Gerald. But now we get 2. So it may have been unavoidable. I'm not sure. It really depends. It could have gone either way. So this defense is averaging against run, poor against the pass. That's going to hurt a lot with the interceptions. When you look at the difference between the good and the average, the interceptions nerfed a little bit now on these team defensive cards from Strat. I mean, long pass 1 man 2 to 4 and 12. Short pass 4 man 2 to 4, 11 and 12. Someone's going to get really mad when they throw a flat pass 1 man interception 2 to 3 and 12 return for a touchdown. It better not be me, Gerald. I'll get very mad. I don't get mad at you. I'll just get mad. So it's really going to hurt. You're looking at a turnover deficit when you got Don Majkowski and a weak running game and a poor pass defense. You're a little bit behind the eight ball before you even start talking about completions and my stars and garters. You get corner zeros. In order to win, my team has been rebuilding for a good 5-6 years now. And I've had a poor pass defense on multiple occasions, and I've had corner zeros, and those poor pass defense cards with corner zeros, let's just say, very tough to play with. Very, very tough to play with. 3-4 average against the run, 4.54. So he's got the good nose tackle on the weak outside linebackers, defensive ends rather, weak players on the outside against the run. It was 4.5, 4.5 at linebacker. It was a good blitzing coming from Greg Lloyd, who was a beast around this time. It's got good safeties. Tim McDonald, a 6 strong safety. Lonnie Young is a 5 at free safety. With these corner zeros and the extra defensive back 0, I mean, he's going to have to constantly cover that. He's going to have to constantly try to double. It's going to open up the running game. It's going to leave some running backs uncovered. Guys are certainly going to take shots. Short pass, long pass, and his pass rush is not great. He's got defensive at 9, nose tackle 6, outside linebacker 12. So this defense is really going to struggle. It really is. Let's see who's got in the kicking game or return game. A lot of opponent punt return cards weren't that great. There was not much differentiation in the punters this year in the net average. As you guys know, I do spreadsheets for that, and even the kickers. So it's one of the reasons why I ended up neglecting it to the end. Regional punt return card with David Hollis, a touchdown from James Jefferson and Joe Howard. Joe Howard should be the sole back. Should not have 2 guys here. His card is just flat out better. Touchdown 2, 6 of 25. Send Dennis an email. Get James Jefferson out of there. Get Joe Howard as the number 1. Puncher got 7, 41 yards, 12 block. Kickers aren't that great this year. His is particularly not good. Jason Starowski, 2 to 7, 11 to 12. It's like my guy. He's all right. But they're not that great. His kickers about average probably. So yeah, this team's going to struggle, I think. And Gerald's new online, so don't take this the wrong way, Gerald. I'm going to give him 5 and 12. That poor pass defense, and you're only average against the run with corner zeros and no running game, and a quarterback card that's good, but it does throw some picks, and he'll be throwing us right a lot. So I'm going to go 5 and 12 for Gerald. But it's the first time online. He loves the game, and nowhere to go but up, Gerald, if you do struggle this year. So stay with it. I've seen several guys who, 6 years ago were getting their head handed to them, and now they're playing for Super Bowls. So there's a learning curve at times. So just hang with it. It's a great game. We'll get 5 and 12 to Gerald. Wake up. Type 5. 1, 2. Moving down the standings. Trying to stand a 5-minute team. I'd love to be done by 11 Eastern. I eat a little something and go to bed. But I'm going to sleep a little earlier than usual lately. We have Jason Owens, aforementioned Georgia Storm, 3 and 3. The Storm lost 14-10 to Butch, lost 23-7 to me, lost 27-10 to Brian, and then beat Arizona by a field goal. I think that's Mike Nemo. Mike Nemo's intended to we have 2 Arizona franchises. Okay. I forget who the Arizona Express is. I think it's one of the newer guys. Maybe. Maybe Paul. New Paul. But then there's also Chico's bail bondsman. So I'm not sure what team that is. That's going to be tough. Well, I can look at who they drafted and see. Okay. But anyway, Jason beat Arizona 15-12. He beat Keith Mowbray 27-21 over in East Rock. And he beat Joe Golden. It's always a good win. Joe's very good, 17-10. 17-10. Jason's 3-3. Interesting. Jason's usually an offensive guy. He likes to go like quarterback, running back. And this year he went defense. He was drafting 15th. He could have taken Warren Moon. He could have taken Don Majkowski. I don't think Thurman was the guy that anyone wanted to take as a late first-round pick. I think he went about where he should. Nice pick for Rick, who already had a good quarterback. So I get either Warren Moon or defense, and Jason went defense there at 15. I mean, in Indianapolis, halfback maybe within that throw with that. Second round's okay for it. Like Mike Dean, when I spoke about that should have been a halfback pick and not a fullback pick. Which he realized after the fact. I think he didn't realize Bentley played halfback. That was the issue. But Jason went defense. And he went defense. 1, 2, 3. Nowhere to go after that but offense. And he's paying the price on offense. I think I screwed him by taking Roger Craig one pick ahead of where he would have taken him. I want to say in the 6th round? 7th round. So 7th round. It doesn't mean you're missing a guy by one pick and really hurt you. And early on you expect it, but when it gets into like the 4th round and on, and you miss a guy by one pick, it's like one pick. It's the 6th round. I could have got him early on. Like some units are going to go. Like you're drafting number 8, you can't go. Oh man, I missed Neil Anderson by one pick. Neil Anderson was supposed to go in the top 7. You weren't supposed to get him number 8 anyway. So you can't complain there. But you get the 5th, 6th, 7th round. You go, one more pick. There's a much greater chance of a guy slipping one pick there, and it's not so clear cut that the guy should not be there, so to speak, or should obviously be taken right ahead of you, with some exceptions. There are tiers, as we talked about. So Jason Stevens, so he's got the Buffalo quarterbacks, Frank Wright and Jim Kelly. I saw both when he played me. And basically what you've got is Jim Kelly throws picks, but has a more well-rounded card for completions, although he's only 8. He's only got 12 long pass wrong units. It's not that great. The short pass wrong is nice, though. And Frank Reich, who throws flat passes, great. And otherwise doesn't have much of a completion call, but the interceptions are low. So Frank Reich is the guy. If you can run the ball and play good defense, and Jason has to be good with his first 3 picks being on defense, right? 4, 3, good. Those two will play pretty well. Ideally, like to run the ball and play good defense, but his running game is just atrocious. You got the Eagles halfbacks and the Eagles fullbacks. As I mentioned earlier, you prefer to have the Eagles no backs. I think if Frank Reich at quarterback with the Bengals receivers, it's like, well, what, we're launching bombs with Frank Reich's card. And they bring in Kelly, and picks are a problem. He's got 2-0 pass blocking on the offensive line. That's untenable. I'm going to slide that right guard 0-4 in there for the 5-0 guard to help out. He's got the great receivers, Tim McGee, Eddie Brown, and even Keith Jackson, who was one of the better receiving ends of this era, late 80s, early 90s, certainly. Flat pass, short pass guard. Very talented guy. Byers can catch. But this offense is ugly. The defense is very strong, though. I played against them. Now, Jason, if you're listening, you got to get rid of this. You have Fred Strickland in there as your starting tackle. He's a 5'2" nose tackle. He gets nerfed down to a 4'2". So Mike Pitts, the 4'6", needs to be in there, which also helps your pass rush. Okay, I got to send him a message after the game. He was doing that against me. I neglected to mention it intentionally, I suppose. I saw it, so I'll wait till after the game and tell him. I forgot to tell him. Get Strickland out of there. 6'4", 5'5", defensive line with nice pass rush, especially against Pitts in there. Against Pitts in there, it'll be 9-6, 9-12 just from your 4-man line. And then Kevin Green, the 6'12", 12, can plug in for that outside linebacker, for that left tackle 4, rather. Middle linebacker 5, right outside linebacker 4. Just let him stand there, Mike Wiltshire. They want to pick on him. You let him stand there, maybe slide a guy up every now and then. But they're going to pick on him, so don't vacate it, Secondary goes 5'6", 5'5". That's a great second. It's a very good secondary. I like this is a unit. 4-3, good. This is a unit that can literally just stand there and call run or pass and play good defense. And now you're probably going to blitz Kevin Green a little bit. Blitz Kevin Green, bring the safety up. Do a free safety blitz with the safety and Kevin Green. Sometimes slide the middle out, sometimes don't. And that you can really hurt some guys with that. You don't want to get more distance against this defense. So you only got 2 4s on the defense. Everyone else is a 5 or 6. So the defense might play really well, but they're still in the running game. I like the opponent coverage is real nice, which is good with a defensive team. A long game on the kickoff, but kind of everything. There's a lot of this, a lot of good kick returning. The return game is kind of weak. The kicker is a little below average. So I like the defense a lot. Boy, I really don't like this offense. I played against it, and they're just, immobile is kind of the word that came to mind. They have a hard time moving anywhere. Jason's like, he's a pretty decent coach. He hangs in there. He gets to the playoffs. Sometimes made the semifinals a couple of years ago. Sometimes he might miss by a game or two. So I think that we have a lot of new guys this year. Tough to know what to make out of that. Aaron was new in Battle Royale. He won the Super Bowl against me, 27-24, a great game. But I got to give him 7 and 10. This offense is just not going anywhere, and they're staying there. I give him 7 and 10. A possible bump up to 8 and 9 if I need to find a win somewhere to balance off my predictions. We'll see if we can get Dennis to do predictions. Also, just physical predictions, not audio, not audible, rather, because usually he and I make predictions when I do these shows, and people have them to look back to and taunt us with when we fail miserably, which we often do. We picked a guy in Samifa to go like 6 and 10 a couple years ago. He won the Super Bowl. So you feel free to have a grain of salt with your listening to this broadcast. Chico's bail bondsman. Bad News Bears reference. No apostrophe. I don't know if the game allows that. So he's got San Diego. He's got Herschel Walker. He's got Cleveland. Ooh, is this Jay Velling? Is this hard hitting Jay Velling? San Diego. That's the Bernstein Bear. He does have the Bernstein Bear. So Jay Velling. So first of all, Jay, for people who don't know, he's one of the best coaches out there. He's on Dennis's level. He's up there. He's in the elite, the inner circle. Well, Jay, Dennis, NFL Ed, a couple of the guys can compete there. These are the cream of the crop. Creme de la creme. So I'm going to give him a bump in the positive direction no matter what he does. Now it's interesting. He took Rob Bernstein. We all know about the craziness with this Bernstein card. It's off tackle and everyone wrong. It's just crazy. Everyone wrong. Everything is short gain. I don't have to roll everyone wrong when you get Snake Eyes +3. The dreaded 5 is always nothing. That's bad enough. Snake Eyes is supposed to be a good run. Everything else is short gain and better. I get a Snake Eyes +3. But I look at 6 through 12. It's short gain +25, short gain 27, 19, 32. And look at how 12 carries a game and he gets sacked every time you get everyone right. Or if tackle right, it's only a 4-yard loss. So I'd see more off tackle, let him run. But it'll be interesting. And what does the defense look like? It's good. So there you go. Jay knows how to use it. Jay can stand around better than anybody. So in this rule said he knows what time it is. Jerry Ball is at the Detroit Lions, I believe. Detroit Lions, yeah, I think so. He goes 5.64. He's got the 6 nose tackle. That's nice. The 5.64. He goes 4.555 with Dwayne Pickett, the 12.3 on the outside. 65 corners, 6 safeties, 0 free safety. Interesting. So you might see this guy vacating more often than usual with Jay. Maybe double teaming that right corner. Maybe, maybe free safety blitzing. Maybe double teaming the left outside. Maybe flooding a flat wall or something like that. But I think this free safety will probably move more than usual. Maybe not, because Jay doesn't want to go the long game. If I stand there and you beat me for 29, okay, fine. But how? Can you do it repeatedly? So we'll see. Jay's a very good defensive coach. So I'm just on that alone, 3-4 good, very good defensive coach. He's going to do well. Offensively, interesting. He's got Jim McMahon, so he's got a little bit of a ball control look here. Good must running card, 2 to 6, 9 yards or more. Better than Randall's on those numbers. Very nice flat pass. Interception on 11, not 10 like Steve DeBerg. Short pass, kind of livable. 10, 16. The 16 is not that good. to 7 on the 11 interception split. 5.9. That long pass wrong is ugly. So you're going to go flat short a little more. But you do have Webster Slaughter. 19-yard average. So, like, he's got Broad Bernstein and Webster Slaughter. And when they're in the game, one of them is getting the ball. He's going to take his chances. He's got very good run blocking. 5s and 6s ever, except for right tackle. So you're going to see some offense from Jay when Marion Butts is in the game. It was a little better despite the 6 right wrong short gain. Then we were talking with Greg Bell. Cannot catch it all. And Herschel Walker's in the game, was a higher fumble than you'd like, and has kind of an ugly card. But you put these backs in the game, and no one respects them, and they don't call run, and you got good run blocking, and you can sustain some offense that way. And mix in some flat passes if they start calling run, and you're going to try and let the defense do the job. And Rob Bernstein, special attraction when he comes in the game. And he's got a good opponent kick returns. He's got Herschel Walker, because I was thinking of taking him, and he got him. Best kick return caught in the set with an impactful 3 touchdown. Reasonable punt returner, Gerald McNeil. Not a bad punter, but the block is bad. I think the specials aren't that good. Like I said, not a good punting this year. More 30-yard net this year, which is typical for this era. When you play the modern era, you're thinking 40-yard net. So kicker is pretty good, 2 to 10 to the 22. San Francisco was one of the better units, I remember, for kicking and punting. So Jay's got a style he's going to play. It's going to be conservative in offense, except when Bernstein's in the game. That's going to be Bernstein and Slaughter. And he's going to try to get his 2 touchdowns that way and beat you 14-10. Even Darren Nelson, them runs, can do some things here. I'm not recall if he has a high fumble number. He's a receiver, so there's enough here to put together an offense. And I got a high opinion of Jay's coaching. I want to pick 11 and 6, but I'm give him 10 and 7 because Bernstein's not unlimited. There's not a lot in the passing game down the field. And that safety 0 will hurt him once or twice. I would probably expect 11 wins or better just because it's Jay. I'll give him 10. I'll give him 10 for now. He's an excellent coach, so the surprise would be if he doesn't make the playoffs or something, For Chico's bail bondsman, yet to see action here this year. Talking about the Orange County Ramblers, Rick Byron's Bowl of Fame, 2-time Summer Sprint champion, 1986 and 1980. Famously with Vince Ferragamo beat me in the playoffs. I chose him and he beat me. Riley Odom's wide receiver fumble trying to drive for a winning touchdown against an excellent pass defense. That would have been difficult. It was still in my half of the field. Oh, did Earl Campbell. But that was good. That was an epic playoff game, and that was a great game. Tremendous game. He deserves it, of course. Always coaches well. And but this year he's seeing the other side of the mountain with that poor pass defense, 4.3 average and poor. Rick is used to good or excellent. He always prioritizes it. So let's look at the defense first, since that's such a big story here. 5-4, 6-4 on the line. 5-4-5 at linebacker. There's no white tie 6. He's going to try to compensate some of the blitzing. Dexter Manley will be in it as 0-11 on the same side as the 12 linebacker, so that helps Ken Harvey, the Phoenix Cardinal. 5-4 corners, 0-4 safety. Ouch. So Rick's going to be wanting to guess a lot of pass. Rick guesses pass a lot when he has an excellent. When he's got a poor. So he gets pass a lot. He's going to try to double some. He's going to try to blitz you. He's going to try to hook or crook to do something to slow you down. And it's a tall order because you can just hammer this left tackle 4 if you have a decent running game. If they're looking passes to your halfback, if he's trying to get you a Ken Harvey, and the halfbacks are good receiving, and if you can block, you can still throw. It's going to be tough. Great coach, but a tough personnel to get the job done with. And Rick will be the first to admit it. And he does that now. The offense is a different story. He's got Dan Marino. Throws the picks. I only had him maybe number 5 or 6 mathematically. Number 5. But it's nice on the flat pass. 2, 5, 10, 16, 21 short pass, but that clean pick on 11. And where Rick would like to spend more of his time knowing him, the long pass, 12, 16. I told you anything 15 better is real nice. 16 is more than 15 last I checked. So not 12-18, not quite Jim Everett, but still 12-16. Almost 40 to clean pick, but so he can throw in all three levels despite the picks. And Rick knows how to use that long pass attack. The problem is he usually has a really good defense. So now it's like you're throwing a couple of picks and maybe you're having trouble stopping some people. It's a much harder thing to get going. He's got 3-7 to the offensive line. Didn't have to draft it too early either. Took that Washington group. It looks like I'm going to say the third round. Washington, fourth round. So he got 3-7s, the second best pass blocking line. He got him in the fourth round. So Marino will have time. And only got 1-6 run blocking there, but he's got Tom Rathman in the 6-7. Took that San Fran tight end group. I couldn't believe they lasted till the fifth round. That was a steal. If you have a decent halfback and San Fran fullback tight end, you have like the workings of an offense right there. I can run it left as long as one of my guys is 5. I can run it left behind Rathman, off tackle and run. He can catch. My halfback can probably catch. Brent Jones has got a good receiving card. What more do you need? To get your offense going. I mean, he's got the flat pass game going. You have to respect that. I'm not saying he's going to, so it doesn't mean you can West Coast down the field. But when you're trying to take away other stuff, I can do that. If you get the running game and the flat, you can throw all three levels and you get the running game. Then the flat is dangerous, yes. I mean, none of these things are hard and fast rules, but a lot of it is how these things play together. So Thurman Thomas, not a great card, but more than good enough. I kind of like this card, pretty solid. Rick likes these type of cards where it's not so great that the guy's going to run all the time, but it's good enough to really beat you when you get wrong all the time. And look, 5-10 deep with a long game of 3. Nice flat pass card. Look at the yardage, flat pass 6 and 9 or 10 plus for a running back. That's going to be a 16-22 short pass card. So the starting card's not bad. This could be a centerpiece of your offense card. It doesn't have to be because Marino's got Marino. I mean, the Rathman card I've talked about. I mean, it's just a great piece. Helps with the short yardage a lot. Look at this linebacker off tackle right. And if you want to play conservative, you can run it on wrong. So, so he's got his 40 running attempts if he wants them. Short yardage card helps. Receiving 9 only incomplete, 8 plus 10 5 pass right. He is 6'11". He's the red 1926 short pass run. These are number 2 receiver completions. David Johnson had that in the morning game a couple of years ago. Look at the 5 pass wrong yardage, 7 plus 16. The 7 pass blocking gives him 4 7 pass blockings. You're not going to free safety blitz and feel confident when you're tangling up against a 7, even if the linebacker bumps. So that's part of why. And Brent Jones is a very solid flat pass, short pass receiver. Look at his flat pass right card. Come on. He's got nice yardage there. You can also go deep. That was only a 4, but it's a good flat pass. It's a good tight end receiving card. Everyone in this lineup can catch. Can't double team so easily. I think these receivers are both 12-18. 1-3-6, 12-18. Famous Anthony Carter, always good with the bomb. Jojo Townsend, probably his only good year in the NFL. 45 catches, 17.5. He's 12-18. 12-18 is not bad. When you have a good long pass quarterback, 12-18 gets the job done. And they're both 19-26 short. So this offense is going to do really well. This offense is going to do very well. Part of it is, of course, the coaching. Because I know Rick. But look, you can run the ball with Thurman behind the 6s over there. You can throw it flat, short, or deep with Marino. You can throw flat to Thurman and Rathman or Brent Jones. You can throw deep to Carter and Townsend. It's hard to shut it down. You can't sack fest him. Now he's going to throw picks. That's going to be a problem. And the defense, averaging its run poor against the pass. I just like the way Rick's going to play this offense. I know he's going to do a nice job with it. Opponent returns are great. Punt returning in, not that great. Kick returning in, okay. A block on the punt, but a lot of us have that. Kicker's not too bad for the year. Scott Norwood. I want to go 10-7, but that poor pass defense, I'm going to give 9-8. And Rick usually either misses the playoffs by 1 game or wins a championship. So we'll see what happens this year. I know he's poor against the pass, but Rick's just a very experienced coach and very good with his format. And the old school rules, I think he prefers. And that offense in his hands will do very, very well. This looks more like a Dennis Crowley offense. Dennis, I think, usually goes offense heavy in this. Dennis tends to, Dennis goes drafts really well. And he tends to get like a good offense and still be good against something on defense. You know, this reminds you a little more of, Dennis usually won't take a quarterback too highly. He'll go for the running back first usually, but it's certainly a Rick offense. It could be a Dennis offense, but I think if Dennis would say, I would like to use this offense, it would do well. Interesting. Okay, speaking of the devil, Mr. Crowley starts a 1-1 loss to be 20-0. Bounced back with a 10-2 victory. Oh, this real sad, Dennis. Dennis is 1-1. He's averaging 5 runs a game. I'm not sure that would lead the major leagues, but he's 1-1 with it. It's only 2 games, small sample. He's only getting up 22 points. Dennis has played 2 games. He's played 2 games. There's been a total of 32 points scored. Not his team. 32 total points in 2 games. 20 points the first game, 12 points the second. That's awesome. The safety almost hurt him. 10-2. Touchdown, 2-point conversion. Way to get the job done. He had to rely upon its long relief to hold that 10-2 lead. I remember this team a little hodgepodgey. And you see a lot of that this particular year. I really think it's been such an interesting season. It's just like everyone's got like these ugly warts and stuff, I just talked about Rick. Even his offense throws picks at Marino, and he's poor against the pass. It's just like, ugh. Even Jay, Bernstein's limited on attempts, but Jay, I like Jay's team. I would be surprised if Jay do real well in his hands. So I know what type of team he can do as well with. So let's go talk to Dennis. Let's talk about Dennis here, who took Barry Sanders in the first round. Ended up 3-4, good. I told him when he got that secondary, he got Tampa's secondary here, and then he got the Buffalo deal. I said, "Oh my God!" When he got the Buffalo deal, I said, "Man, you're gonna be good with Barry. You're good, and you have one of the top QB HBs through 4 rounds. That is golden in these formats. I would have liked to see him maybe take Testaverde, which you're hearing a running theme. I would like to see him take Testaverde here in the 7th round over this Buffalo fullback tight end unit. I didn't realize Kinnebrew had such a good running card, though. I played against his team. Kinnebrew's got a running card. McKellar's a pretty good tight end. He's got the yardage that Dennis likes. But I would have said, here, let me take Vinny. I could live with even the Atlanta fullback tight end was undrafted. It's not a bad one. Let me take Gene Lang's a good receiver as a fullback there and can run a little bit in the tight end. It's not too bad. They were undrafted that unit just because Jones, the starting fullback, Keith Jones, was subtracted from them. But I liked them better than quite a few of the ones that got taken. But if you took Vinny here, you give me good, and you already had Anthony Miller, so he's guaranteed to get like Louis Lips in the worst case scenario, which he ended up with. You give me good in a 3-4, but Barry Sanders, Anthony Miller, Louis Lips, and Vinny Testaverde in Dennis Crowley's hands, who likes to throw the bomb. That team would be scary. You're not going to make run calls with that long pass, and if they're going to give the run calls, you're going to make them pay. And one thing I would say to Dennis, who I don't think is going to listen to this, I would say, be careful running those draw plays with Barry, because his fumble number is high, and when they guess it correctly, it's like a 100 fumble number. So that's an issue. Now this team's got a major wart. This team is interesting because they should be really good. They're good on defense. Krieg doesn't have a bad card. You got Barry. You got 2 really nice receivers in Anthony Miller and Louis Lips. You got some good run blocking here. You got good returners from the San Diego group. You got nice coverage here. The kicker is not bad. Dennis is complaining 2-6 and 12. Well, the rest of us are 2-7, 11 and 12. But he's 2-10, 13 and 22. Some of us are 2-7, 11 and 12 there. So he's 2-10, 22 and in. That's not bad in this era. And the punter's good. There's a lot of stuff to like on this team. The big Achilles heel is the fumbling. That's another reason why I wasn't crazy about this Dave Krieg pairing with Barry Sanders. Now, Barry's fumble was already like around 45 or something. It's like 30, it's like 60 right, 30 wrong or something like that. So his fumble was already like really high. And then Krieg's snap fumble was like 15. So it's like if I hand the ball off to Barry, gets wrong, it's like a 1 of 45 fumble. Because it's Barry plus Krieg, like on the play, right? I guess right, it's even higher. So, and it's not like Krieg is low with the interceptions either. It's not awful for this era, but 2 to 8 short pass right, that's not really good. And then he's good flat. You're going to try West Coast at flat. The more snaps this offense is on the field, the worse off it is to some degree, because there's another chance at a fumble, a snap fumble, which sounds crazy, but in some degree it works. Then his long pass wrong is not that great. 7-11. So you're thinking I'm gonna go big play to take advantage of these receivers, and he's like at 11 long pass wrong units. So I would love to see Vinny with this team, except of course then Vinny wouldn't have been on my team. I really needed Vinny, but my team's in trouble. Well, they're playing great now in defense, and the offense is working. But if I had no Vinny, I would be, oh my god, I would be desperate. But Barry's got a tremendous card. Come on, look at this. I know he's got the high fumble. I still had him very high, and I still would have taken him very high. You have to generate run calls. This card is certainly going to generate run calls. There's nobody great down here to pick. I know what Dennis is talking about, the quarterback situation. We talked about it. I was kind of like, I might have gone Jim McMahon with him. Just, snap fumble number of 1. Interception is livable. I might try to make sure to at least get him. Testaverde on McMahon. Stay away from that 15.1 snap fumble, and stay away from Chris Miller's 11. And he can't throw it flat. And the other guy who can't throw it flat has the picks. And Krieg also, like his short pass wrong, is just not that good either. Is it like 16 units? 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 16. Yeah, but Dennis is the best coach out there. So he's gonna get his money's worth. He's gonna do the best he can here. He's gonna do well, because the rest of the team looks really strong. The defense, 4, 5, 6 with a down lineman asterisk. You always like to have the down lineman asterisk if you can get it. 5, 6, 4 with the 0 on the outside, but he can play a 4 when he needs to. 5, 5, 4, 6. So, and it's Dennis. I'm going to give him 11 and 6, because if you don't pick Dennis to win like a whole bunch of games, he always makes you look stupid, because he always wins a whole bunch of games. So I'm going to give him 11 and 6 right now, which he thinks is probably unfair. He's going to turn it over too much. He's going to tell me. We'll see. He'll probably tell me I'm shortchanging my own team. 1-1. Type 6. I rewatched on behalf of one of my home attendants. I have home attendants that help me out because of my disability. I rewatched Green Book, which won Best Picture the other night, which is a very good movie if you haven't seen it. There's a free plug. DVD. Dale, not a DVD for your TV. Dale Van Dieven with the Ashland Eagles. Dale usually likes to go offense. He took Bernie Kosar in the first round. There you go. Took him over Boomer as SE. I talked about this in the draft show. Kosar, what's running is not that good. This is really kind of a flat pass card. The short pass is 6, 10, 12, 12, 18. The long pass is 7, 12. Not a good error for flat pass card. And then you got Bobby Humphrey in the second round. So what do we got defensively? 3, 4 average. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. But yeah, so Kosar is not bad, but he's not real good. I like Boomer better, who went behind him. Offensive line is poor, very poor. Pass blocking not as important when you're throwing flat, but again, 12 out of 18 playing a 3-4. Only 11 out of 17 of Dale's opponents, because he plays it, but still. Even versus 4-3, it's just hard to flat pass right in this era. It just is. With no white die 6 rule, particularly. Sterling Sharp is great, maxed out. He was the guy that, like Dennis or the guy who got Vance Johnson wanted as their flanker. He's maxed out everywhere. Steve Sewell, instead of those scrubby Green Bay guys, got the nice off tackle and run wrong when you put in the backfield. This is a 16-22 card, though. 16-22, 5'10", so that's not great, but the yardage is nice. James Thornton. Never heard of this guy. Oh, yeah, the Bears. That's right. I remember him. 16.3. Look at the flat pass yardage. You might not want to throw it to him elsewhere. He can't catch too well, but I don't know. Sterling's going to see a lot of extra attention. Even by, and then the running backs. I mean, Bobby Humphrey's not a very good receiver traditionally, is he? I don't think so. No, he's not that great. Barry Buster usually was sometimes not too bad. 32 catches. Yeah, he's pretty good with the yardage. I'm wrong. Now, this Bobby Humphrey card is not, I think, better than Greg Wells. It's not really a bad card. Now, the short game is on 10, not 7. But there's positive yardage elsewhere. The problem is that gets wrong, he's just not really doing much for you. Or if it gets right card, the Emerald Rose are too bad. But I thought this card was workable with a good defense. You know, you run it a lot and do okay. But I don't know, this Kosar Humphrey pairing, average, only one good receiver, doesn't really do a lot for me. Defense average, at least it's a 3-4. Nose tackle 6, that's nice. It was 4-6-0. But this is what's always nice when you talk about complementary units. The right end is 0, but the right outside is a 6-12-10. Hall of Famer, the late Derek Thomas. So he'll spend a lot of time up there on the right end spot. So, you know, and against him, because he's a nose tackle 6, at least if you're trying to run inside, you can hit that some. It's not really a shutdown, the nose tackle 6, though. I have them in the modern leagues. It's more like you hit those readings occasionally, but you don't hit them. It's not like on a corner 6. You don't hit them all the time, you know? But if you're going to pop Derek Thomas up, he's going to slide Dino Hackett out. You can't provide help to this 4. So you want to run at that 4 and throw it that the left outside and looking passes and stuff. And then the secondary, he's got to cover the secondary too. Strong safety 5, Mike Hart, and the rest of this, there's 4s. At least he has an extra 4. So I think this defense is probably not going to do enough to overcome the offense, because I think it's average. Like if he has to cover this, he has to cover the right end 0, and he has to cover the secondary. And you can run at the 4 over here. You can flat to these guys. You can challenge these guys in the secondary. There's a lot to cover, and then the offense only has one good receiver. Kozar's more of a flat pass guy. Humphrey's not bad, but not real good. So I'm not in love with this team right now. And decent punt coverage, decent punt returner, nothing much on your kick returns. Good punter, looks like one of the best ones. Good kicker, kind of. Out to the 22, everything is relative here. Yeah, I'm not in love with this team. I'm going to give it 7 and 10. I'm pretty critical and pretty hard. So I ended up with a whole bunch of guys under 500. I don't know how often I've done a summer sprint season preview show. So maybe this is the first one. I've definitely done draft recap shows. Famous for beating people up in the draft. We're moving right along here. We're doing pretty well on time, which is nice. So I'm getting hungry. Pittsburgh Steelers, Ron Martin debuting tomorrow. A couple of games that played this weekend for the Steelers. He sent out an email. Is Joe Golden playing right now? That's the big question. Since Joe talked about, since Joe was looking for a game tonight. So Ron's got Boomer Esiason. I like Boomer's card a lot. You know, again, Montana and Everett to me are the 2 quarterbacks to get 1 and 2. Where I feel like, oh, those are the type of card it's worth sacrificing your defense. After that, I was not going to sacrifice my defense. I was going to go defense first, especially these 21-unit defensive back units slid. After those top 2 quarterbacks, I want a good pass defense. But Marino, but Esiason was a guy, if he had slipped and had a late first-round pick and I could secure a good with the second-round secondary, I really liked his card. I had him mathematically 5th. So I bring a 4th. My bad, Rick. But I had Boomer mathematically 5th, but I might in some ways preferred him to Marino because the turnovers are so low on this Boomer card. Snap fumble 3.6. That's not terrible. I'm kind of spoiled. I kind of like 1.0. Hey, look, a line and run. That's nice. Right? But the must run, 2 to 8, 6 yards or more. Don't overlook that. It's awful. Flat pass 7 only incomplete. So what? Especially in this era. 13-21 short pass with 9 good must run units. And then 3, 7, 8, 8-14 long pass. Hits the magic 14. 8-14 long pass with 9 decent must run units. Look at interception. Short pass right, only 2 to 4 and 12. So many of these other guys. You see, this is why I like him better than Bernie. Not only he's ahead of him by 2 slots in my mathematical formulas. This is not set in stone. I do subjective ranking after this, but this is what the new numbers came up with, and then I go subjective from there. But this card can throw all 3 levels. It can. I feel like this short long is much better than Bernie's. Much better. So this card can throw all 3 levels. It reminds you a little like head Carson Wentz and Battle Royale type of quarterback. I like throw all 3 levels, low turnovers. That's what I like. The more running is a bonus. This card can pass certainly well enough that second 11, you got a bad running back, you do it in run with Boomer. Shokin plus 20. Shotgun for the 10-yard line, 2nd and 10. Oh, the bad running back in there, and you got the bad running backs. So that's going to hurt. But even though I like the Boomer card, you have to have a decent running back, and you don't have it. I think any team that don't have a decent running back this year, and they're set, are really going to struggle. I felt like that was a must. If you didn't have a decent running back, you were not going to do enough on offense, probably. These are my opinions, and based on experience, and people do better than my opinions will say all the time. So I wouldn't say, okay, it's time to cash in the season here, 3 days in. But personally, I was kind of making sure, I was going to make sure, like in my number 1 running back column, I had to get one of these top, I had to get a top 8 back in the number 1 backs column. That's Neil Anderson, Barry Sanders, Christian McCoy, Bo Jackson, Dalton Hilliard, Thurman Thomas, Eric Dickerson, and James Brooks. I had to get one of those. Or the Washington or Jets running back groups. Atlanta, maybe with John Settle, you could do something. That card is not too bad. I know Bernstein. San Diego, I suppose, at Bernstein, but you got to play some funky offense there. And there was some ones you could try to piece together, like Buford Jordan's got a pretty good card. Fullback for the Saints. And then you try to get. You said Atlanta with John Settle, so I'm not sure you can get the halfback attempts to make that work. Herschel maybe got a high fumble, not a very good card. It's got Robert Drummond on Philly's not too bad. Robert Drummond and Buford Jordan. You can maybe make that work if you have a really good defense. So really, I wanted one of these top 8 1 backs, or Rod Bernstein, or that's 9 guys, or the Jet halfback group, or the Washington group. One of those 11 was a priority for me. I had to get one of those. If I don't get one of those, I don't know how I'm making you pay. I don't know how I'm getting a sustained running game. And Roger Craig, I have him as a 2-back, which is fine, but not as a lead back. And Settle is not bad, maybe. But you get below that, you're really in trouble with your running game. If you can't run in this set, it's very hard to have an offense. And there are teams like that, and that's what we got with Ron Martin. And maybe there was no spot for it. Ron's a defensive-minded coach, so I'm not surprised that he took Boomer and then went DDD. Ron likes to play that good defense. 3-4 good and average. With some nice pass. That front 7 is pretty scary. Pretty stout. So with some nice pass rush, so he's going to be competent with that average. And Ron's a very good coach. And then 5th round, he took the Pittsburgh halfbacks. He took that Pittsburgh halfback unit over the San Francisco halfback unit. Maybe Ron wasn't aware, but Worley has got a big fumble. Worley has got a real big fumble. Where did I get? Oh, I got seventh rounds. We actually passed on it twice. Then took the Dallas on the sixth. So once you took Pittsburgh HP, you couldn't take another HP, of course. But Tim Worley, the big fumble number. The running card is not bad. 9 short game, right and wrong. Guess wrong. It's not too bad. But I think he's got a very big fumble number. I think I would have gone for Roger Craig. Not that Roger Craig is great. But if Roger Craig is your number one back, that's not very exciting. Because your number 2 back, it is fairly exciting. Because he can catch like crazy. Everyone keeps double teaming all the time, so I've been running with him actually a lot lately. I'm going for a wide one halfback, trying to throw bombs to keep double teaming guys. So I'm running Roger Craig from there. But I don't see him right now. There he is, Tim Worley. 34.5. Right, not awful for this stat, I guess. But this is where Ron's team is going to have to live. This Worley card's going to have to do work. Ryan Visick, I think he's got a big fumble. He's got Eric Ball, 4.0. Might not be too bad. Another guy, 6 short game, right and wrong. I think his fumble is decent. So actually, Eric Ball and Tim Worley, that's going to try to manufacture the offense. He's got some decent receiving targets here. Rodney Holman's real good. Brian Blades, I think, has a nice average. 13.8, but he's maxed out short 12-18. That's good. So kind of a weird offense, but it might kind of work. Eric Ball, Tim Worley. I think Craig Taylor might be kind of okay. Wrong. So Ron's going to try and beat you with those 3 guys running the ball, some good defense, and Boomer not turning it over. Defense is good and average. Goes 6.54, the defensive line. I think it's the San Diego unit. Lee Williams and Bert Grossman. Yeah, San Diego. Goes 6.54 the defensive line. 5.560 at linebacker. Is that New England? That is New England. But, they have a back. Don't they have a backup inside line? I think you can do something with this group that makes it a little better. There's like some movement inside linebacker plays on the outside and stuff like that. But 6.54 defensive line, 5.560. The 0 can come up to help the 4. Look at the pass rush. 12-10 at defensive end. 10-6-11 at linebacker. So Ron's going to be coming after you with the pass rush. Secondary is only average, but the free safety is a 5. The left corner is a 0, but the rest of the secondary is 5s. You only have 1-0. Yeah, if everyone's coming by 5, you can more aggressively double this guy. But Ron might stand around more or blitz the hell out of you and let you take some shots while he tries to pound your quarterback into the turf. I think this defense is playable. I kind of like it. And Ron's a good coach. So I kind of like the defense. The running game will surprise people because Ron will be patient with it. Return game not too bad. Punt looks pretty good. Opponent returns aren't that awful. Kick was pretty good. Miami was one of the last units I wanted. Not the kick is pretty good, but there was a lot out there for kicking and punting this year. I kind of like this team of Ron's. I want to give him 10-7. I think he can do it if he plays a defensive, conservative style, runs the ball with Worley and Eric Ball and Craig Taylor, and annoys people with that. But I'm going to go 9-8, I think, because Ron lately is in this league. I think these formats have not been getting. I don't know. I can see 10-7. I'll give 9-8 right now, but if I adjust it, it'll be up. I'm looking forward to seeing the Steelers in action this weekend. It's an interesting team. A very interesting team there. Good average with the great pass rush. Kind of not sensational running cards that he's going to commit to. And I think Ron will do well with it. I'm convincing myself of better. I'll stick down an 8 for now and see what it looks like at the end. Then we got the new guy, Anthony T. The Rochester Jeffersons, who might be playing right now. He's 2-2. Beat Joe Golden 40-24. That gets your attention. I can see a box score. That's after beating me. 414 yards of offense for Rochester. 36 carries for 211 yards. Randall Cunningham, 10 carries, 70 yards to hit the must runs that game. John Settle, 22 carries, 132 yards. John Settle card is not bad. It can do damage if given the opportunity. And Joe with 5 turnovers to 3, minus 2 in the turnovers. Joe's an excellent coach. So, and he could beat him in convincing fashion as a job well done. But 2 and 2 for Anthony, 40-24 over Joe, 23-17 over me, turnover fest with my team. Then lost 10-2 to Dennis, and 19-7 to Wisconsin. And it's Butch, and he had a hard time, really hard time, moving the ball against me. You know, he had under 200 yards of offense. So this offense, it could struggle a lot. In 4 games, what is it, 957 yards, so about 230 yards a game. Randall's completing 35% of his passes, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. So he may have to rely on John Settle more in the running game more. I think this is a decent defensive team. Well, he's the one that he took Miami 5 overall. We talked about that in the draft recap show. But he's good in average against defense. He's got Cunningham at quarterback, but Randall's must run 2 to 7 only, 7 yards more. 8 plus 3. He doesn't have that 2 to 6 plus 10 or more that you see with a lot of the great must running cards from yesterday. Randall's had some other really good must running cards. The M-run roll 8 to 12 is nice. But again, I've seen better M-run running back cards from Randall himself, certainly. And other running quarterbacks. But 8 to 12 is not bad there. He's got the old-fashioned M-run right where you get hit for minus 6 and 7. But his must run is just not as strong as I would like for a running quarterback. Flat pass is only okay. 7 and 12 incomplete. Guess wrong. 7-13 units of short pass wrong. Long pass 5 and 12. You're saying 16 must run units, and even if I give you 9 completions on it, it just doesn't seem to play out as well. Once you double team and those go away, I think so. I think this quarterback ploy with the must runs and the 7 pass blocking, which is not going to work out as well for 2 reasons. The must running is not as good as you'd like for a quarterback to do that with. 2 to 6, 10 yards or more is what you want. The other 8 with a +4 or +5. And there's not enough other completions. Only 7 units of completion. Randall's some really good cards, like 1991, 90, 91, 92, somewhere in there. He's got a couple of really good cards. And it certainly would work with those cards. So I don't like the way that plays together, and the run blocking isn't that great. You've only got the 5 there. There's the 6 with John Williams, who can run left with Settle. The Settle card is a nice card, actually. 179 attempts, 3.8. But the linebacker off tackle wrong is not bad at all. You could definitely work that, and certainly gets right as well. So this might be what Anthony, I don't know if it goes by Tony, what Anthony settles into more as the season goes on, is running Settle a lot. And he's got to get some other attempts in the ground game because Settle only had 180 in the NFL. And that could be an issue. John Williams off tackle is not too bad. Not too great. I think his fumble was a little high. Excellent receiving card. Basically, when you play me running, you're doing like 3 plays. The short pass to somebody, or a flat pass against my 5 to John Williams, or an off tackle left with Settle. Now, does he have any other decent running attempts somewhere? Derek Fenner, I think, fumbles a bit. That's an issue. Greg Patera, I don't think, has much on his card. Kenny Flowers, I think, is even less. So attempts could be a problem with Settle. If he had another back a little better, it would be helpful. The receivers are real good, of course. Got the Houston guys. You got Drew Hill with a 14.2 maxed out short and long. 1, 5, 11. No, not maxed out long. I thought he was a 15-21 guy, but he's not. He is. 15-21 deep. So you got to respect that. Ernest Gibbons, cancel. 1926, 12 a team. Very fine number 2 receiver. The good average, even though there's no long gains, it's still a good card. He was running some 3 and 4 wide against me. Haywood Jeffries, 1926, 9-15. I like that 1926. and with good yardage on it. And Curtis Duncan, 16-22, 9-15, with decent yardage. So his offense can do things at times. And, if he gets hot hitting some receiver readings, if he gets some must runs, 2 to 7s, if guys are unable to double team successfully, he could do something there. He's going to take advantage, of Randall's M runs, I think, to complement Settle's lower attempts. You take Settle out of the game occasionally and make them call run against Randall. Anthony's trying to throw passes, guess wrong if they're going to guess run, and hope to hit his receivers, which could happen. The offense hasn't really got going yet. He had the one great game against Joe, but then 3 other bad games. I don't like it for this format. Dump off. It's a mo. Dump off with a good must-running quarterback in all 7s. Oh, that works. That works really well. But there's no dump off here, so it doesn't work that well, in my opinion. Defensively, 3-4 good and average. 4-6-0, so or a 4 if he wants it. So he's got the 6 nose tackle. He got 4-6, 5-6. This Green Bay linebacker group I thought was really good, and I thought really slipped in the draft because so many linebacker groups. Nobody wanted to take one, I guess, too early. I didn't have a problem. On New Orleans and Cleveland, they were going to go. They were hellacious. This Green Bay group, 4-6, 5-6 with a 6-12-12 in the right outside. That's pretty nice. And if he plays that 0-12, he can bring the 6-12 up, 6-12-12 up to protect that. He's got a 6 at one corner, which is good. He can leave the flanker alone. But strong safety 0, right corner 4. But linebacker double teaming can help. So this defense, I think, can play pretty well. And it's good against the run. So I think the defense can play pretty well. I had a hard time that at times when he was safety blitzing me and coming after me with a couple of guys. Opponent punt returns. So not a lot of the special teams game, it looks like. Kicker's pretty good up to the 22, though, which is about the best you can hope for now in this set. So the defense, the kicking game, I like those things. I like Settle. I think he's underrated. Randall's the problem, really. Randall and rushing attempts. Those are the problem. I just felt like when I was analyzing the quarterbacks, and you got to be subjective with the quarterbacks. My formula doesn't do the trick, but I just felt like Randall just didn't do enough when I looked at his card to get me. Like I like John Forcade on the Saints, but he was gone by that time. I just didn't see an offense I could run that I'd be happy with if I had around. Maybe if I had a great defense and a great running game, and it was going to be like, all right, let me have a low turnover quarterback. He only got 12 deep, so you can't do the Byron's Bowl as well. You could try it out, I guess, but so yeah. But he's already got some good wins on the resume here. He beat me and he beat Joe Golden, and he played Dennis. I mean, those are 3 pretty good coaches who usually do well, and he's 2-2. But I'm going to give him 7 and 10 anyway, Anthony. Let's see if he goes out. But he could be the guy. He could be the guy to go out there and prove me wrong, and be like, "Here's your 7 and 10," and definitely exceed that. We'll see. So he's got it. The gauntlet has been thrown down. He's got a chance to do it now. The Ohio Bobcats, our good friend Michael Reeves, friend of the show. Where is that from? Friend of the show. Something I watch where they say that. A news program? I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing that's in general society. But Michael Reeves, Ohio Bobcats, a defensive group. Michael's going to play. We've had Byron's Ball. This will be Michael Reeves' ball. Michael likes to play West Coast and good defense in this retro era. It's a bad year for West Coast, in my opinion. Michael drafted well, though. I liked his draft, I think, for the most part, until this Phoenix wide receiver group. But he did the same thing, I think, in 1980 and took receivers that were better flat than otherwise, and it worked out. He just always got Roy Green. Okay. So let's start on defense. Michael started with that's where he went, 1, 2, 3, defense. The hellacious Minnesota defensive line. I went into depth about the strategy that should be used here, so I won't repeat that. But, oh, man, look at this. Look at this defense. Look at the front 7. 4.566 the defensive line, 5.56 linebackers, with pass rush from hell or heaven if you're Michael. 11, 10, 12, 9 of the defensive line with Astros 5 and 9, and then a 6'6", 12, 10 outside linebacker. Even Billy Ray Smith at left outside to 5'6". So tremendous pass rush, outstanding ratings. You know, you get some run to help that left end four, or you bring up your left outside. Secondary, though, corner fours. But if you want to try and make a living on that in this era, Michael can beat you with the pass rush. Well, I'll be curious to see if he's just going to, you know, this defense could play stand around. I was telling him he's got to move pieces and stuff like that. They could play some stand around. You know, don't give them a long pass zero. Make him try and work his way down the field. You get, 1 or 2 sacks and it's over, right? I don't know. You can play this defense a number of ways. I wouldn't be passive with it. The pass rush is just too. The pass rush against this pass blocking in this set. Oh my God. Dennis would play all 17 games in one day if you gave him this pass rush. But to use it, you got to use blitz and safety. So, and I would do it anyway. I think I would be very happy to play with this defense. And you might get 100 sacks with this group this year. If you play it right. Offensively, it's actually, considering the defense, the offense isn't that bad. Bobby Hebert, flat pass Maximus, interception on 10, though. That's going to be a problem because those flat pass interceptions get back to the house more often. Short pass 6, 10, 11, 11, 14. I don't like that 14. But again, he's going to stuck with one of the bottom 10 guys. The must running isn't that bad, 2 to 7, 5 yards or more. I mean, Randall the must run is a big part of his game. These other guys, I'm like, okay, it's involved. 6-12 long pass with too many picks. The short pass, long pass, right picks are a problem. I don't think you can really go with that. I like John Forcade's card a little bit also. I like John Forcade's card. There's the must run you want. 10 yards or more, 2 to 6. 2 to 9, 5 yards or more. His flat pass is not bad. His short pass is 9-15 with good yardage, more yardage and completions than Hebert gets wrong. And the 10 must run units are a little better. And he's 5-10 deep, so that's the problem, is the long pass. But I had eyed this Forcade card under certain circumstances as a guy I could use. And it's nice to have the 2-quarterback system since Hebert is so good flat. And, you could use Forcade against some other guys. The running backs are pretty good. Johnny, Hector, Freeman, McNeil. They're guess wrong guys. They're not guess right guys. Hector's not too bad. Guess right. Says all right. Guess right. But together, that's not a bad tandem at all. Steve A. Smith, I think, has a high fumble number, but otherwise has a pretty nice linebacker off tackle card. So these are the no-name running backs, but they can do it. And if people want to guess pass against you all day long, run it with Hector and Freeman and Steve Smith. Make them respect it. You look at the receivers. Roy Green, 16-yard average, 19-26, 12-18. So he can hurt you, as anyone who knows football from that era can. He's got Ernie Jones as a backup. He's only 16-22, but he's also 12-18. So if Michael had wanted to, he could have gone for a better long pass quarterback because he took Hebert, I thought, a little early. 7th round. Okay, what am I going to complain about? 7th round. I didn't have Hebert terribly high, I don't think. I didn't have him really much ahead of, I had Jim McMahon ahead of Hebert. I had Bobby Briscoe, was a different type of quarterback. Did you get 4K with it, which I like? Of course, I had Vinny well ahead of Hebert. Michael does not like the turnovers. He's not a bombs away type of guy. So Vinny was never probably really in the mix for him. JT Smith is maxed out, flat and short, but he cannot catch a long pass no matter how hard he tries. Well, it's 5 and 10. He'll catch a couple, but like his short pass, his longest completion is 19 yards. So that kind of hurts. But the flat pass is certainly very, very, very nice. Maxed out flat. And Mike Dial is a little bit the opposite. He gets you some good yardage there. Short pass wrong 4, plus 65. Oh, that's awesome. 3 long game, 4 side. Look at those flat pass yardage. 9 plus 19 gets wrong. So Michael's probably going to try and work the flats a lot to Jay Smith and Mike Dyer and run the ball. think Steve Smith can catch a little bit, can he? It's not too bad. He had much better receiving backs last time, 1980. So, Michael, I was talking about the offense before, complaining. It's actually not bad. And not bad when you factor in the defense. This defense should play really, really well. I like that scene, and we talked about this with John Settle having low attempts and one of the other teams not having a good enough rushing game. Ashland maybe or something like that. I like this. Jeffrey McNeil, Johnny Hector, C. Smith. All right, I'm not getting the best running backs in the world. I missed out on the top guys. I was going defense heavy, but I ended up with an effective running core. Those cards are good enough. Like if you sit there and say, "Oh, these cards aren't that great," I'll let Michael run the ball. He will run the ball down your throat. He will run the ball and get it to field, and he'll run the ball very well all game long. I don't remember if Smith has a high fumble number. I'm looking for it here. I must have missed him already. I hate when this happens. Trying to find something. Here he is. Okay. Oh no, 16. That's not bad for this year, particularly. So, Freeman McNeil, Johnny Hector, Steve Smith, they're going to run the ball. He's got a 6 center, a 5 left guard, unfortunately a 0 right guard. But again, this is a weird set. Everyone's got warts. At times you can go blocking back with Steve Smith to help out Hector or McNeil. There are guys who will not respect the running game. They'll pay. They'll sit in the flats. Now, what's going to happen when people sit in the flood the flats and call run? Then you got to count A-Bear to go downfield. You don't have any pass blocking like most guys have. So that certainly be stopped. But enough guys will not call run that Mike will have success. If you're a good coach who calls run against him, he'll struggle. I like the opponent coverage units. Puncher's not bad. Why is Daryl Usher listed as your number 1 kick returner? Someone tell Michael that Mark Logan should be the number 1 kick returner, that Daryl Usher should be not returning any kicks at all, ever, at least not until after I play him. But that's a good kick returning card. You got this as a 2-back. No one knows why. Field goal kicking is pretty bad. He took the Seattle unit way too high. He wanted the coverage, but 2 to 9 and 12 from the 3-yard line. You and I are probably better than that. You can't. Yeah, I had the unit a lot lower, probably because of the kicking. But yeah, you got to make those inside the 12. So that could hurt him. But I kind of like the team, and I can see Michael doing well with it against a lot of guys and frustrating them. Defense real strong. Offense can be hurt, but again, the defense. Michael, I want to go 10-7. Just put the pressure on. Michael likes to exceed the prediction. That's a big deal for him. 10-7. I know how he's going to play it. I showed him how to play the 1980 team. It's a little different. That field goal kick is going to hurt him a little bit. And he's going to miss a couple of big kicks from the 7-yard line. Michael's little offense can't get in the end zone. I'll give him 9-8, but I would not be surprised at 10-7. I expect to see this team in the postseason, Michael, and if not, it'll be your fault. I tease him, Michael, because I know him well. The guys who I know well and joke around with, they get a little more of that type of ribbing. Good-natured, of course. And we got only a few teams left, so we're doing well here. The Tempe Rattlers, brought to you by Mike Nemo. Finding Nemo, looking for his first game. Oh, as Michael Pickett say with a thank you, who's listening live. They could go 10-7, Michael. That defense is very, very strong. I would not stand around with them because they could be devastating when played correctly. And that requires aggressive use. But even if they get turned into a stand-around unit, there'll be a strong defense. And I know how you're going to play that offense. The same way you played the 1980 offense. You have to run the ball. You got to make people respect that running game. And maybe John Forcade is the guy. Maybe John Forcade throwing some short passes. Guess wrong. He took a flat pass card, not too bad. Michael loves that flat pass card of Max of A-Bear, but we'll see. Of course, he'll take a merciless beating with sacks. But We'll see. And the offense will also struggle mightily at times. It's gonna be a lot of low. It could be some low-scoring games, which is fine. You can play that style in this era. It's just it's not. It's just the rule set and the era. There's some real explosive cards, but I mean, the best offenses we've seen so far are probably Rick's and Dennis's. And Dennis's has got a fumbling issue. Rick's the only real good offense I feel like I've seen so far, and he throws picks. And the rest of us are all like, oh, I don't know, don't sack me. I have the running backs, or something. The quarterbacks think something's wrong with the rest of our offenses for the most part. So, 10-3 gets the job done. Tempe Rattlers, Mike Nemo, Finding Nemo. Now, Mike had a couple of picks. I wasn't that crazy about early on. And Mark Rippon, I just don't like the card enough to take him in the first round. I mean, in my formulas, he came out pretty well, I think. Let me see, where was he? He was fairly high. He was number 6 in my formulas. My formulas ahead of Kozar and Magic Madge. But I think the snap fumble is high. For Rippon, it's a 12.3 snap fumble. You're getting like 60 snaps a game. It's like, you can average almost a snap fumble a game. You can lose half of them. Right? Flat pass is nice with a low interception. Short pass 13-20 is nice. Must run, it's Mark Rippon. Not giving you much on must run, at least. Maybe 2 6 4 yards or more. The long pass 4-8. 9-13, which is unusual. You think a guy with 9 long pass right would get me to 14 or wrong, but no. He's got 9-13. So it's a fine card, but the snap fumble really nerves it for me. So I would have focused on getting the good defense instead of taking a quarterback there if Rippon was what I was looking at. And Mike ended up average in a 4-3. So Rippon average 4-3. And then the second round, see this Dickerson card. As a number 1 rusher, I've got Eric with the 7th best card. As a number 1 back, I have Eric with the 7th best card in the set. But that's giving points for having a lot of carries on the card. If I go on just straight rushing, like per attempt, I have him down around number 16. Behind Albert Bentley, number 15. But behind guys like Buford Jordan and Robert Del Pino and Johnny Hector. Okay? But that's not straight rushing. That's actually including receiving. Actually, he's got 3.9 straight rushing. But some of the other guys are 3.8. So we're taking Nickerson there at 3.9 when I get Johnny Hector 3.8 much later on. I don't know. And Freeman McNeil 3.9. I mean, like that jet, you're like Freeman McNeil plus Johnny Hector. I'd rather get that in the 4th round than get Eric Dickerson in the top 25, probably. 39.4 fumble is a big issue. But actually, I don't know. But Dickerson, and I was a big Eric Dickerson fan. I was a teenager I think I was 13 in 1983 as a rookie. So I kind of like his card, though. He's got the HO game right and wrong. He's got the positive yards everywhere else. He's not going to generate the run calls, though, too much. He might on name recognition, which, believe it or not, works. But there's not a lot of differentiation between the right and wrong columns, which helps you in short yardage, right? This linebacker right is really nice. But it doesn't help generate the run calls. The run wrong isn't too bad. But I like if I'm picking number 20 here. If I'm thinking of running back unit number 20, and here in the 1980s, I need better guess wrong running. Better guess wrong running than you got here from Dickerson. As much as Okoye is a limiting pick, I think his running card's probably better than Dickerson's probably. What kind of average do I have for Okoye per attempt? Of course, the Okoye pick is a big problem because it hamstrings the rest of your attack. No, I got Okoye even worse. No, I got him 4.5. He's down here because he can't catch, nor do anything else. I got him 4.5 straight rushing minus a fumble penalty. Probably a better straight rushing call, but I wouldn't take him that card either. The problem with the Okoye pick, that fullback tight end unit. Number one, there's a lot of compelling fullback tight end units in this set. There's a lot of decent tight ends, a lot of fullbacks who can run the ball a little bit, maybe catch a little bit. Some 6'7s in there to help against the hellacious free safety blitzing and asterisk guys. So when you take Christian Okoye, you get a horrible tight end who's worthless. Can't even block. And Okoye can't catch. So 2 of my 5 guys can't catch. And Okoye, he's got a decent running car, but it's not real good. It's not like Neil Anderson or Barry Sanders or James Brooks' frightening card. I love that James Brooks. I used to work with that card back in the day. Dicing cards. So give my brother trouble with that Bengals team. Boomer and Tim McGee and James Brooks. And he had the Chiefs. We played an epic game. I was getting I was getting like 5 play 80-yard drives. He was getting like 15 play 80-yard drives. And he won the game late. Like 20 or 27, 21 or something. It was a lot of fun. It's a game from about 30 years ago. So and then Mike talked about this. He didn't realize that Al Bentley had halfback on the card until later. The play would have been to take the Colts halfback unit because of the strength of the fullback tight end units. Because now, if he plays Albert Bentley in the backfield, his tight end is Pat Beach. Which is no day at the beach as a Jet fan, let me tell you. 6.2 average. Oh my God. My guy from the Chiefs is better than that. So Dickerson does play fullback. He took Paul Palmer later, who's got a little bit of running ability on the wrong off tackle line run, right? Not too bad. But how much wrong calls are you going to get with Paul Palmer? I think also was a high fumble when he had Eric Dickerson in the game. So if he could have undone one thing, he would probably go back and switch that to a halfback unit. And even the Atlanta one that went undrafted would have been helpful. This would have been a better compliment probably than Paul Palmer there. And then he's got the good run blocking. Let's see, he can hurt you right at the middle. This is Zeb Strong's team. 6 center, 5 guards. Dickerson's good. Dickerson's got a nice solid linebacker right guard. Albert Bentley is also good up the middle. Linebacker off tackle. Bentley can catch real well. I love that yardage. Look at that flat pass wrong. 16, 15, 17, 8, 9, 10. I mean, that's real nice. So this might actually work. And then ripping, flat passes, real good. Short pass wrong will hurt you. Got enough deep to make you respect it. And who's he throwing to down the field, though? Jim Jensen, hopefully, is not. 9.1 average. Longest of 21 for a wide receiver with like 50 catches. He's not really a wide receiver. He's a little more of a running back. He was on my 1985 team, I think, as a backup fullback. I guess they turned him into a receiver eventually. Usually fullbacks don't make good wide receivers. Certainly not down the field. But look at this flat pass card. It's tremendous. And that's the 1926 short pass card. That's good. Clayton, 15.8 average is your downfield threat. 1926, 12, 18. Duper must have been banged up in here. He had some banged up years later in his career. Duper, 3, 9, 16, 22, 9, 15. So that's not worth writing home about. I'm not a big fan of that Miami receiver pick that he made. He got the good punt returner with a 3 touchdown. One of the best ones of the set. And that's going to be really helpful. This is 6th round on the way back. So, but I think I liked better. Well, I'm not sure there's anyone really to take there who is real good anyway left. So you might as well grab the punt returner. Yeah, no, I can't complain about that really. You get the punt returner, you get Jensen's good with the flat short. Clayton's good down the field, you get Rippin. Bentley's good short pass. See, that's why that halfback designation really hurt him. If he had taken Indianapolis halfback, and now he could have taken a tight end in the last few rounds. I mean, who went late here? The Raiders went second to last, and Michael. Yeah, Michael, that Dial guy's not bad. That's a great pick to get. almost the last pick of the draft. The Raiders fullback tight end, Steve Smith's got a pretty good inside running card, not too bad receiving, and Dial's got the big yardage as the tight end. That's a great pick to get in the 10th round. So if my team would have done that, or they got the Atlanta one with Gene Lang has got a very nice receiving card and can run. This offense would have been so much greatly helped. But as it is, I like that you can, maybe you go. Does he have a fullback here who can do anything besides Bentley? Ivy Joe Hunter? Probably not. Say it ain't so, Ivy Joe. Well, I think it's a high fumble too. But I don't know. Maybe you go at times. You could go Palmer and Dickerson in the backfield, Bentley to them. But I guess you also see pro set with Dickerson and Bentley. Dickerson can't catch as well as he can in some other years. Not bad, short. But this offense can still work. It can still work. That tight end is such a killer. But I like, look, he can run linebacker at you, and you better respect it, or he'll just eat you alive with it. And Ripper can throw flat, so he's got the run. He got the run flat game going with the downfield threat because Rippon can throw short and long, and Clayton can catch long, and Jensen and Bentley are good enough short, and Clayton, of course. So I think this offense is going to do a lot better than I was first thinking, right, Mr. Nemo? As this is where I get bogged down after I analyze the one guy's team for 25 minutes. 4.3 average. My wife is already sleeping. I'm going to wake her up after the show to help me with something. But 4.3 average. 0.644. That hurts. Because now you got to really play run defense. You got to respect it because they can run at you. 5.45 linebackers. Good outside pass rush. Too bad he couldn't play a 3-4. Probably wouldn't get to average. Because only one of these 12 and 11s can count as a high linebacker when you play a 4-3. Secondary's got one corner 6, which is great. You can just ignore this foot end for the most part. 4s everywhere. So there's too many 4s and 0s in this defense. He's only got 4 players that aren't a 0 or 4. So he got some nice pass rush from a 4-3, which I like. He puts one of these linebackers, they got a pretty nice pass rush there. That tends to work. I've seen it in action. But you want to start blitzing to cover these 4 defensive linemen and the 0 left end. You're opening yourself up for flat pass, no men. You bring up the safety. I mean, there's just going to be all kinds of openings against this defense for either grinding out yardage against the run, flat passes when he's trying to help against the run, or blitz for the pass, or passes down the field. So the defenses, I think, is going to struggle. It's one of the, outside of the Gerald with the 4 and the 0s, it might have the hardest time of any team in the league. But again, we've all got warts. It's one thing great about this format. Minor league or pass season is usually you're not going to get everything. It's hard to put together a well-rounded team, so you got to coach around your weaknesses. Michael has one of the more well-rounded teams, actually. Opponent coverage is real good. I like that. That's important. Field position is important. He's got the 3 punt return touchdown. So it's even more. It's great to have a great punt return when you have a real good defense in this era because you're forcing a lot of punts. Punts are great. The kick return is good, so I like to see that. Giving the team a little something where they could use it. 2 to 10 kicking out to the 22. So I like that. So special teams are strong. I like the offense better than first 30. What I really don't like this defense, though. I really don't like it. And that's going to ding. I'm going to keep them down to 8 and 9. So I think this defense is going to frustrate Mr. Nemo. 8 and 9. But hey, that means only one more game and you're in the playoffs. So type 8. Type 9. I'm not doing too bad. I have to league 5 games under at this point. Usually I'm worse than that. So as I blow past any notion of doing a 2-hour show and bogged down with the Tempe Rattlers. Woodbridge Baron, Dave Pagic, playing tomorrow morning. I don't think he's played yet. Dave, who I've been playing with for almost 20 years online now, had the 6th pick of the draft. Went for Jim Everett. Dave has a scary offense. This is so great. He's got Jim Everett and James Brooks. Oh my gosh. Oh, 3-4 average. So like Jim Everett's got some picks, but I had him as the number 2 quarterback, and Montana and him were probably the only quarterbacks I would have taken in the first round if I could get a good running card or a defensive secondary 20 plus personally, because a good pass defense is just too strong. You're not getting your money's worth out of some of these other quarterbacks. Because, you're not going to, you can't pass block. You're giving up a chance at a good pass defense. You can't go pass first, really. Montana Everett's cards were good enough that I would have done it anyway. Everett decent enough flat, but short pass, look at this. 3, 5, 6, 7. He can't run, but who cares? 17-20 on the short pass with good yardage there. And long pass is where he's special. 12-18. 7-8-9 complete. A 6 receiver. So, I mean, it's 79 complete, 12-18. I'll say, oh, yeah. Well, so what? How long? I'm just not going to call pass. I'm just not going to call run. When Jim Everett, against Jim Everett, big deal. He's not going to call run. Hello. James Brooks on the off tackle. I'm run wrong. You don't want to call any run, sir? Do you mind if I roll this at 11 plus 65? I used to hit that a lot. Look at this. Look at this card, man. Look at this little off tackle wrong. It's just all like short gains and like +9, +6, long gain, and +41 mixed in. And then end run is like, okay, I'm only getting a +3 here or there, but long gain, +28, short gain, then short gain on 9, +65, +30. This card does work. Now, he fumbles a lot. I know that. He fumbles a lot, but the card still does work. And the card is not great for every pairing, right? Bernie Kosar, the James Brooks card, I don't know about that. It's not great for every pairing, but what a pairing. Jim Everett plus the James Brooks card. The rest of us are trying to plod along and get some kind of offense or do something crazy, like throwing bombs with Testaverde. Get Jim Everett and James Brooks, legitimate. You can even get Jamal Getting right on 2. Legitimate big play attack there. It's got no pass blocking and no run blocking, so you can sack the hell out of him if you're guessing pass. And Brooks doesn't have a ton of carries, but he's got enough. But the other backs aren't really that bad. Stanford Jennings, I think, has a high fumble. Oh, he's not that good. William Howard, I think I was looking at this team earlier because he was looking for an opponent. Yeah. Well, you get, second short. You could run, second 4, second 5, second 5, the second short. But second and 5, William Howard, run the ball. Hopefully his fumble's not too high. He's got some deep play receivers. Irving, Fryer, Hartley Dykes, Stanley Morgan. I was a big Stanley Morgan fan when I was a kid, too. 1978 set. Wesley Walker and Stanley Morgan. Oh, huge averages. He's got 19, 26, 12, 18 for Hartley Dykes, who I think was one of those like really high receiver picks, like 4 overall or something maybe in the NFL. 19, 26, 12, 18 for Fryer. So he's going for the 12, 18s. Stanley Morgan, this is later in his career. Still, 19, 26, 9, 15 with a good average. Not bad for a guy slowing down. Like Stanley Morgan and Wesley Walker, they like didn't slow down until they were like done. They're like still putting up some nice numbers, I think, until the final season. Then finally, it came apart. Now, Ron Hall, only 11. He's not too bad. But you might see some 3 wide receiver, 2 tight end. So he doesn't get the white tie penalty when running the ball. And he gets that extra nice receiver with Stanley Morgan in the game. You might see some 3 wide, 1 running back, but you might see some 3 wide, 2 running back. So this offense is going to take some sacks. Sometimes they're going to go 3 and out because they didn't hit anything big, but they're going to make up for it because sometimes it's going to be 3 plays, 80 yards. For this set, this offense will do real nicely. And what's on defense? 3-4 average. I wonder what his draft looked like after you got Everett and Brooks. He went Giants secondary. Well, there was a secondary run. Like all of a sudden, all like the 18-point units were going. And I was like, oh my God, I have to take a secondary. I'm going to be poor against the pass. So some of those guys got stuck in the third round. It looks like in the top half of the third round, they had to take these secondaries, or they might have got poor against the pass. So that hurt him. It was unfortunate, but he had to do it. This defense is not very good. Average. 4.60 against the run. At least you got the 6 nose tackle. 4.65. So short yardage, it'll be hard to get him at the middle with the 6 nose tackle, 6 inside linebacker. 5s to the corners, which is good. 4s at safety, and probably the worst pass rush we've seen. Got a defensive end 9 here. No linebacker higher than a 6. Second best down lineman is only a 6. So normally, like if you're average in this era, you got a lot of 4s. At least you got some good pass rush. You can play around with that. It's going to be harder for David to do that, but it is a 3-4. It's a 3-4, the nose tackle 6. So he can still defend the flat. You got corner 5s. So it'll be tricky. It'll be tricky. Let's see what we got on special teams. Nice coverage, except the 12 long gain on kicks. Again, some of these things are just in this set, so you're going to be stuck with them. Kick return is not too bad. He's got Eddie Murray. 2 to 10 to 32. Big advantage for David over all the rest of us. A lot of us 2 to 6 and 12 or something. After 32. A lot of us 2 to 8 at best. 13 to 22. He's 2 to 10. Out of 32. Big advantage there. I had Detroit as the number 1 kicker punt unit by far. I'm not sure I would have taken them quite as early as David, but maybe a round later, or maybe just a little later. A 5th round, maybe like in the 6th. I don't think they'd have been there on the way back, so that's a fine pick because of what the alternatives are. And the punch is good too, so these special teams will help him. The field goal kicking will help him. I love the Jim Everett, James Brooks combo. Make sure to get some deep receivers. It's going to be, there'll be games where he gets sacked 8 times. And there'll be other games where he, has 400 yards, which is a lot in this set, in this era rule set. I don't know. I kind of like this team a little bit. Defense can do some things. I have a feeling somehow they're going to disappoint, underwhelming, like 8 and 9. But I can't pick them to do that. I'm going to go 9 and 8, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do much better than that. I would not be surprised at 10 and 7 or maybe even 11 and 6 if he gets it going. I have a lot of respect and love for that James Brooks card with Jim Everett. Oh, but I'll give him 9 and 8 anyway. It's a tough league, and the defense has got questions, like I said. So move on. But David Patrick could do much better than that. We'll see. Could fall off too. Could be only be 8 and 9. I think 8 and 9 is the low bar, but that's an exciting team. I'm not looking forward to playing it. And if I was ever ahead of him in the playoffs, I'm not choosing to face Jim Everett and James Brooks. I'll tell you that much. Thank you very much. So choose Randall Cunningham. Nothing personal, Anthony. This is young Randall Cunningham. Come back in 91. I'm not choosing that card. I'm not choosing to play against that card, rather. Jersey Rebels, Joe Golden, who was off to a surprisingly slow start. He was looking for a game late. I don't know if he got it or not. 1 and 2, defeated Erie. Erie silence Brian Lewis, 24-9. Lost to Jason, 17-10. And lost to Rochester, 40-24. 40 points is always a lot. But in this era, wow. That's really a huge number to put up on somebody. Joe was drafting 4th as Joe took the Kansas City secondary. Joe went for the route of, I have to get the good pass defense. I'm going to take the 21 unit. He was probably surprised that another one didn't go to them at 13. I was very surprised at that myself. I would have taken Neil Anderson. I love that Neil Anderson caught it in the draft recap show. I would have sacrificed and taken that one. Sacrificed the defense. Joe's averaging good with the 3-4. Let's get Kenny O'Brien at quarterback. I would have slipped for some of the other guys, I think, because Kenny's got picks, short and long. The long pass roll is only 11 units. This is not an 85, 86 kind of O'Brien. 8-11 long pass wrong. He's got the great flat pass card, but I don't believe in this set as a West Coast approach. 13-16. I like the running backs with Ernest Biner and Gerald Riggs. And he grabbed Keith Jones off of the Atlanta attorney. I like these backs because they're like Ernest Biner's got a nice right and really solid guess right, decent enough guess wrong with some short gains in the middle. Very fine receiving card. So he's a good complementary back. He can play halfback or fullback. Doesn't have a ton of carries. Keith Jones, kind of a tricky card. You don't see the short games, but it is a 6+15, 7+15. It's a good yardage, solid right. Another good receiving card. And you got Gerald Riggs in the mix. I'm not in love with this Gerald Riggs card. Joe's trying to hide his backups for the rest of us. What are you doing here, Joe? With this, no backups. But this Gerald Riggs card, I don't like the intro game right wrong, only with the 7 yards, but it's not that bad. The rest of the yardage is pretty solid. You can run this card linebacker, try to get lucky at 11 off tackle, long gain. It's not that bad for it, but he can't catch usually. Or block is 0-0. He's using him on Atlanta. And actually, the Stunt Mitchell card for some reason came out decently in my rankings. So that might come in. Plenty of carries, certainly. Only can go 10 yards. Not vintage Stunt Mitchell. So, and he's got some decent run blocking. 5 center, 5 left guards, 6 right tackle. So I would like to see a run-heavy approach from Joe. Run-heavy approach. Make them respect it. Throw your play action off of that. Maybe some short passes to Mark Carrier. He's got the 19. He's got the max short pass. He's got the max long pass. But O'Brien with only 11 long pass wrong units, a little short pass wrong. And, get your 15, 20 yards that way, pop an occasional long game perhaps. Although the corners are good. The right corners, I think, are good in this set. The Bruce Hill, not very good. But a lot of receiver sets were like that. One real good guy and then not much. Don Warren can't catch. So this offense really, at times, will sputter, but the running game. He's going to run the ball, make them respect it, mixing his flats there. Maybe some shorts to Carrier. He's probably trying to bomb to it. That's part of why I would have probably not taken O'Brien where he did, because I don't think the offense is coming together nicely enough even with that. 3-4 defense is averaging good. Joe's a very good coach. 0-5-4. The 5 nose tackle. 5-4, 6-4 linebackers. 6 is at corner, 5-4. Defense should play pretty well. I like Joe's coaching. He's got to respect the run and bring up Haley again at left end spot. Someone is. It sounds like going in here, but unless your internet is dying, I don't see anything here. Somebody there? No one's showing up in my broadcast, but it sounds like. That's kind of weird. Usually you see the name here on the side. There are people here listening. Whoever just joined, Anthony, mute your microphone. But it's not showing them on the bottom of my screen. Usually it shows them on the bottom of my screen. That's how they are now. It's showing them. That was freaky. Okay. So, hello, Anthony. Okay. We're almost done here. You have to listen to the whole broadcast at the end if you're just joining. Special teams for the Rebels. Opponent kick coverage is good. Opponent punt return not that great with a long game. Dion's pretty decent. Touchdown and 2. Not that great on kicks. Very good punter, Ron Stark. Bayasuchi's a good kicker. This is one of the better units to get. Kicker punters, that'll help. Joe's done a great job. Joe's a very good coach. He's done a great job with these leagues. He's made, I think, 3 of the last 5 combined Super Bowls or something like that. He certainly made at least 3 Super Bowls. He's lost them, but he's made them. So when I look at that, I'm like, how can I pick against a guy who does so well? I'm not in love with his team. Personnel, I would probably say under 500. But the golden touch, I'm going to give him 9 and 8. I'll get him in there. I would be surprised at better. But this could be a team that Joe misses out with. Could be an 8 and 9 or, God forbid, a 7 and 10. But I respect the coaching, so I'm going to get him in there at 9 and 8. You can see, look, we're all going for the year. I mean, the only guy I got 11 and 6 is Dennis. No one else got better than 10 and 7. So 3 teams to go. The Arizona Express. That's got to be this Paul guy. I don't know very well. The number 1 pick overall took Joe Montana. Nothing wrong with that pick at all. I would have taken Neil Anderson. I love that Neil Anderson card. And I think in this era, this rule set, the good running card is much more important than the good quarterback card. Let's take a look at smoking at Joe Cool, Super Joe. Maxed out flat. See, one of the difference makers for this card, the interceptions are so minuscule. Short pass right, 2 to 3 on 11, where most of us are like 2 to 7 or 2 to 7 plus, and some guys have it on a 10. Some guys are worse than that. Maxed out flat, gorgeous short pass card as well. 3, 8, 12, 15, 16, 16, 22. Short pass with even a must-run bump. 2 to 7, 6 yards of going, 8 units of it. And one of my 10 is better long pass cards. 6, 13. So long pass wrong can still hurt you. So I like that. Now, Paul drafted in that. I don't understand the Minnesota fullback pick. Number 2, I'm not a big fan of that one. I mean, Rick Fenny's card is okay. But I think Alfred Anderson might have a short game, right and wrong. So that was a different year. I think Jesse Clark's got a very big fumble number. That might be what Rick overlooked. Not Rick, Paul. He's got the 9 short game, right and wrong. So Jesse Clark card isn't bad looking, but maybe he didn't have the individual fumbles. I had to do all that research myself to get them, and it was a pain in the neck. I promise you that. But Jesse Clark, I think he has a super high fumble. So I got Rick Fenny as the 52nd. Number 2 back with a 33 fumble himself. But Jesse Clark might have one of those like 100 fumble numbers. Yeah, it's 150. So 100 gets wrong, 200 gets right. Yeah, you see the red here. 10.0 even in the file in red. You got to stay away from that or investigate it and learn better. So that's like an unplayable fumble. So if you only looked at this and didn't realize, I'm not sure if that's what happened, but that makes that pick a lot worse than otherwise. I hope nobody minds that. I like to give an honest opinion. I think it makes for a better show. But I think you could have maybe gone. See, you could have taken Dalton Hilliard. Or even Christian Okoye, but Dalton Hilliard. See, I don't understand. Over Christian Okoye, you take Rick Fenny? I know Steve Jordan's got a good card, but Dalton Hilliard with Montana, that would have been nice. I would like that to go that route. Then you get Lars Tate later on, who's not that bad, actually. Well, he's not that good either. Okay. He's chunky. I just saw the average. I thought he'd be okay, but that card is not too good. It took it very late, of course. So there's really no running game here that can offset Joe. And then you got these really nice Ram receivers. The 6 Flipper Anderson card. 789 long gain, 10 plus 78 long pass wrong. You're never going to see a wrong call, pretty much. You have no pass blocking. And it's hard to go West Coast in a 3-4. So I think, again, that's one of the reasons why I think the running back is a better play than the quarterback. If the running back has a great card, there's only 2 or 3 that are taken very highly. I love Steve Jordan's card, of course, with all that receiving yardage, but too easy to shut down the flat in this set. No pass blocking. No running game. So Montana is not going to do as well as you would hope. Defense is average. 5-4-4. I like the pass rush here. 5-4-4. The Giants linebackers. This is a great 3-4 linebacking group because the only 4 is on the inside, but the 6 is on the outside. So who cares? 6-4-4-6, and you got pass rush from LT, of course, at 12-12, and Carl Banks even as an 8. So, when you're blitzing 2 linebackers in the right situation, you got the 12-12, you got the 8, you got the 10 at left end, 5 nose tackles, not bad, even a 6 on the right end. You can do something. You can stand around on the inside with the 2 guys. You do have to bring someone out to help against the run. So, but again, hard for someone to flat pass all the time. And they only throw outside if they think you're blitzing LT. Secondary's got a 0 free safety, though. The bad Ken Stills. I have the good Kenny Stills on my SSFA team. So free safety 0, corner 4. Other guys are 5-2. There's a lot to cover here. You got to defend the interior runs, right? Which open double look and pass. And you got to try to defend downfield passing. You do have the pass rush. But you get hit a couple of times. The offense is really going to struggle because it's just hard to be pass first in this rule set, and you don't have any pass blocking. and the running game is just not there for this team. So don't take it the wrong way, Paul. I like to give my honest opinion to be up front. So hopefully I'm wrong and he'll have a good season. So let's look at the opponent returns. I don't see a lot of help here on the kick returning and stuff. The kicker's not too bad. Nick Lowry, of course, he was one of the better guys of the era. Now, I don't know Paul. I've never played against him, and I've never coached against him. I haven't talked to Dennis and asked, hey, what kind of coach is this guy? So I'm going to ding the team, Paul. Don't get mad at me. I'm just trying to give my honest opinion. I could be totally wrong. You just have to put it up on the chalkboard. But I'm going to go 6-11. I just think the offense will have a hard time going somewhere. The defense could play well, but it's got too many opportunities for big plays, and so both sides of the ball will have some problems at times. So I go 6-11 for this team. Type 6, 1-1. And we're down to the last couple of teams here. I think only 2 to go. Yes, which is good because it's getting late. We have the East Rock Redskins. That's Keith Mowbray's team. He's a veteran of these leagues and someone I know from SSFA and play with over there and trade with over there. I traded DeMarcus Lawrence a couple of years ago. I think Keith likes that trade now. Lawrence was coming off like back surgery. I was like, back surgery. It sounds a little shaky for a defensive end. Let me protect the asset. And now he's helping helping Keith rather, over there in the SSFA. East Rock Redskins, 3-4 average. He wants to get a good running back. Where was Keith Redding? He's sitting third. Took Bo Jackson, number 3 with the Rams. Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen with the Raiders, halfback group. I love Bo's car. We all do. But only 17 attempts. I would have gone for Neil Anderson. I had Neil Anderson over him. I think I had Neil Anderson and Barry as my top 2. I think Neil Anderson and Barry were my top 2, despite Barry's fumbles. But because Bo only has the 17 attempts. I love Bo. I was a huge Bo fan, of course. How could you not have been? Very, very good card. Excellent card. Look at everyone wrong. You hope to pop that 12 plus 92 at least once. That'll make it worth it. But even like Linebacker off tackle, right and wrong. And this is that old style 60s, 70s, and then here in the 80s, but 60s, 70s running card where everything's good. You got the big yardage, you got the short gains, you got the tough yardage. It's not chunky. Good off tackle 11 plus 50. They don't make cards like this anymore because there's just too much passing in the modern NFL. Maybe like if someone on the Baltimore Ravens does, has a big year, they'll get a card like this because they're running the ball so much, like it's the 1970s. But yeah, this is what you want, right? You want to generate run calls. This will certainly generate run calls, and you can either call run on defense or lose. I can't receive that well, but a little bit of short pass, and you get at least get some yardage here. But it's trying to be nice because it's Bo. And this is interesting. You see, he's got Bo, and Keith likes the explosive offensive cards, and he takes the Niners receivers late second round. I mean, look, that was probably even a little later than I thought they would go. But then no quarterback until the 9th round. So this is another team where Testaverde would have come in handy. I would have liked what's interesting. I wonder what he's going to do here. On this strategy, Keith's an interesting coach. Now, Bubby's not really that bad. I didn't mind Bubby as one of the bottom end quarterbacks. Flat pass isn't too bad. Short pass, 11, 14 is not very good. The interceptions are low. Long pass, 7, 12. Not great. Not great. But you could throw with that 12. If you got great receivers, and he's got Jerry Rice and John Taylor, and he gets a bonus. Jerry is the flanker. Jerry's, of course, maxed. He's Jerry Rice. Of course, he's maxed. And John Taylor might also be max deep. I don't remember if this was the only 15-21 double max deep group. I don't remember if the Raiders are or if the Rams are. But John Taylor, 8, 9, 10 long game. 12 plus 95. So he's going to try and run it and then hit his receiver cards. And Bavaro's got a nice flat pass, short pass card, and he's a 6. Marcus Allen is got a higher fumble number than you like. He's got pretty good receiving, good tough yardage like he was always getting. So it's not bad. Maybe I like him to pick better now. You sneak Dave Megan in the game at times. At fullback, look at this receiving card for running back. Look at that. Oh, Dennis would love this. 16-22. Dennis likes this. 9-15 for a running back with a long game on 5. So that's a nice card to sneak in. And you get some VS carries if you need them with, I think Lee Roussan, I guess wrong, is not too terrible. Otis Anderson is not very good, but I think you get some tough yardage off tackle right. There's mostly going to be Bo and Marcus. Don't run with Dave Megan. His fumble number is huge. Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Bavaro. Bo's the one that really can't catch. He's got some good run blocking. Center 5, left guard 5, left tackle 6. Marcus is a 6. You're blocking back with halfback. He's got Maurice Carthon also. So you can go blocking back halfback with Bo or Marcus Allen at halfback and a 6 at fullback. And you have to respect that running into the left. And then you're going to try and hit receivers to Marcus or Bavaro in the flat, Jerry or John down the field. This could work, even with Bubby at the helm. So I think this can work. A lot of it is how it works together, not always just what the guy is in a vacuum, you know? And Keith's a pretty good coach. Interesting coach. He's pretty good with the offense, I think, at times. I have Bubby 15. I have Bubby a little ahead of Bobby Hebert. Totally different type of card. Hebert, like really good flat, but some picks. Bubby, not that great with the completions, but low picks. So Bubby's got a snap fumble, I think is pretty good. 1.1 for Bubby, 1.0 for Bobby Hebert. So either of those guys. So yeah, so I think Bubby can make it happen. What do you know the defense for this team that's taking all his offensive players early? 3-4 average. You gotta have a decent defense here to make this work, Keith. 5-4-0 with Jeff Holy Cross at right end. 4-5-5-6 at linebacker. I like that because it's 6 coming down plug. The 0 at times, you do it a few times, catch a guy, you get scared of it. No one's gonna get scared of it. They're gonna keep running it. But 5-4-0, 4-5-5-6, free safety 6 with the left corner 0. Other corner 5, strong safety 4. This is a funky defense, a weird defense. I don't even know what units this is. TJ Turner? That's a Dolphins defensive line. Jeff Cross is right. Buffalo linebackers and the Jets secondary. James Hasty. But I don't know. You're average. You got to protect this nose tackle 4. So you're gonna bring up one of these 5s. People want to run another 0 over here. You're gonna bring up your 6. He's also got some good pass rush on the outside linebacker and the defensive end 10. And a 0-5 left in off the bench. John Bosa, the father of the Bosa sons. Bosa boys, Nick and Joey. But you also got to protect this corner 0. You could see inside linebacker comes up, right outside comes up. Safety double teams the corner. Sometimes outside doesn't come up. Sometimes inside slides out. Sometimes you don't forget. You could see some mixing and matching here. They're going to catch you at times, but you can see some mixing and matching. But it's tough because you're giving them so much. But you can see some mixing and matching. It might work. It might do okay. Got to mix and match. Opponent, special teams could be big for this team. Megan's got a good touchdown and a 6 plus 27. Gene Atkins got it, not Geno Atkins, returning kicks, but Gene Atkins, the safety has a touchdown, and 6 is 23 yards. It's not too bad. Puncher's not that great. Field goal kick's pretty good after the 22. And 2 to 7 and 12 is not bad. 23 to 32 in this set. So this team is not bad, actually. I like them. I think they're kind of cute. I think they could overachieve and really ball some people. I would love to pick 10 and 7, but I can't do it. I'll go to 9 and 8. I'm like Mr. Fence-Sitter here. Everyone's 9 and 8, but a lot of teams in the playoffs, Dennis, if everyone's 9 and 8. I'm 7 games under, so I'm going to be bumping up. I've got 3 teams winning 10 or more games. Me, Dennis, and Jay. I'm pretty stingy with the prediction, so that's where that's coming from. My bad. I don't mean to be. I come about it honestly. I don't know how, but I do. Then we have Dr. Brian. Last but not least, that's for sure. 0-1, lost 24-9 to Joe Golden. And Doc Bryan. There we go. Let's call him Doc Bryan. And Doc Bryan was drafting 7th when he got Neil Anderson. For me, Neil Anderson number 7 is just an absolute steal. Absolute steal. I had him number 1 on my board. He's the, he's got a real good card. He doesn't have Barry's fumbles. He doesn't have Bo's limited carries. And he can catch. He even gives you a 4 pass blocking. I mean, in this set, I think he's the best running card to have in this set. I know the 7 is 0. It's not, 7 no yards, 6 and 8, guess right, a +8 and +7. Okay? And he had a long game at 2 still. So, I mean, I'll live with that. And on the rest of this card, I'll live with that 7 no yard alignment wrong. But the M run wrong, I mean, look at that. That's going to generate all kinds of run calls. And the guess right's not bad. He doesn't have one of those big -5s. His worst is a -2 on a 5. But the off tackle wrong is solid. Look at the off tackle right. Outside of the dreaded 5-9, the only thing that doesn't get you at least 2 yards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 8. You might pop that 2 long gain. I know the other guys have a better average, but look at this linebacker wrong. No 7 is no yards, but look at the rest of it. I really, really like this Neil Anderson card a lot. And he's a solid flat pass receiver, 16-22 short. Could even go deep if that's your type of thing. I'm not a big long pass to the running back guy normally. But in this set, you got to do what you can. And I know Dennis likes that. A lot of guys like that. Dennis, Nathan, I don't know. That 2-6 on the long pass just doesn't get you a lot of. Oh, we have an update here from Anthony. He wrote in live game action. Yes, it was his 27th carry, and you can't take Bo that deep into the game. But about 30 minutes ago, you can't take Bo that deep in the game. Well, you can. Guys know how to ration their carries. That's not the issue. It's just that it's only 17 instead of 27. I really get 10 extra carries on Neil Anderson. I'd rather 27 Neil Andersons than 17 Bo Jacksons. That's what I'm saying. I love Bo Jackson's card. Let's see, 30 minutes ago, Neil Anderson fumbled on the 15-yarder with his team trying to run out the clock inside the 2-minute warning. The Rochester Jeffs then drove 70 yards to tie the game. The Jeffs won in overtime. Neil Anderson fumble rating cost them the game. Is a full -1 WAR impact enough incentive to pick Bo over Neil? Tough one. There's a real-time example for the case of Bo. 15 out of 1,000, not the 15-yard line. Okay. Well, I don't know. 15 out of 1,000. I don't see a WAR. I don't see that 15 of 1,000 compared to the minimum fumble of Bo. It's very negligible. It's 10 out of 1,000. It's 1 out of 100, and you recover half the fumble, so it's like 1 out of every 200. And by my math, that doesn't come out to be that significant. We all love the minimum fumbles, but no, I would still take Neil Anderson. My ratings factor in fumbles. You get dinged, I think, -42 yards per fumble, 42 out of 1,000 because it's out of 1,000. Per one fumble thing, something like that. So I think it's like -42.5 per fumble is what I hit you with. So I factor them in heavily, but nothing about Bo's card. I'll take the extra attempts. And still a great card. But anyway, talking about the team. Okay, this is my last team. I was getting ready to get out of here, but talking is good. Do you have a WAR for these cards, Anthony? Do you use the ratings file and do any formulas? And do you have a full -1 WAR wins above replacement? I assume you're saying. I don't. Do you have a WAR system for these cards? I'd be curious to hear about that. It's not big on evaluating the cards with the math. I don't use the WAR term, but I could if I wanted to transcribe it that way. That's just a term for what you're calling it. You could. I could tell you what kind of an average is. I could translate that if I wanted to, but I don't. I'm good enough with the numbers. Now, the rest of the team, he waited to the end for the quarterbacks, which happened to a lot of us. Chris Miller and New Mills got a high snap fumble on both. The snap fumbles are such a killer. There's no way to coach around them. You have to snap the ball. As soon as you snap the ball, you're at risk. So I really hate those high snap fumbles. The Chris Miller card can't throw flat, but it's pretty good deep. It's only a 7-12. Did he hit better than that? 7-12. Did he hit 13? Okay. Yeah, that's why I wasn't as big at it. The interceptions are low, but the snap fumble is high. They can't throw flat. I got a problem with that card. Hugh Millen's snap fumble makes Chris Miller's look conservative. His snap fumble was around 20. That's scary. Maxed out flat, but with the split, although it's low, not very good in the other types of throws. Although he is 3, 7, 8. He's at least 17 short pass wrong. So short pass wrong at 17 is not bad, but you don't want them guessing pass because they think you're throwing flat. And now 10 is 2 to 7, 11 to 12. Cannot throw deep though. 5, 9. So this card he's gonna work this card in sometimes, but it makes me scared with that 19.3 snap fumble, whatever it is. I saw that he has not been running Buford Jordan much. You want to max the carries. This Ironhead card is not that great. I'm not a big fan of that card. I think he has a high fumble on it as well. He can't receive. I like him as a blocking back, of course. If you're going to run it and decoy and you want people to guess run, people will call run. And you can take your shots to Willie Galton, Mervin Fernandez. That sounds nice. Willie, 12-18 deep. Only 16-22 short, but look at the 9 long gain units. 9 long gain units short. 13 long gain or better long. If you're going to be 16-22, at least be Willie Galton, 16-22. But Swervin Mervin Fernandez is also max deep. No, Willie's 12-18 deep, I think. Mervin's 15-21 deep, 19-26. If I was throwing a short, I'd throw this Mervin card with the extra completions. The yardage is still very nice. But these receivers will scare people. Hobie Brenner, king of the wild frontier. Not that great, but he blocks. Very good run blocking on this team. You want to take advantage of Buford Jordan carries also. Go block him back on fullback. I mean, Neal's going to run it a ton, but, go block him back on fullback at times. Maybe they don't respect Jordan. So mixing the quarterbacks, it's an interesting team. The offense is missing a little something. Missing a little something, which happens. Half of us are going to get stuck with a bad QB. I'm not sure who else. I don't know. Bobby Brewster might not have been bad for this team, but he was gone. Like I said, Brian got him at this guy at the end. So, doing the best he can. 3-4 defense goes 6-4-4. He's got the left end 6, goes 4-6-5-0. So you get good inside linebackers to help out. 0-12 U Green. That's going to be Tampa Bay or Miami. Blitzing on the outside. 6-5 is a corner. That's nice. 44 safety. So defense is kind of weird. He's got to help up front. The nose tackle right against the run. He's got the inside linebackers for it. But you know what? Even though the flat pass is not easy, you don't want people throwing at the 0 all day. And if you want to bring him up to help the 4 defensive end, then you're not helping the nose tackle. All right? You can't really do everything there. But the corners help a lot. People might take some shots. It's going to be a bit of a hit or miss defense, right? He's going to get you with a guy in the zone in the right call, or you get him with no in the zone, or you might take shots against this free safety. Extra defensive X 0. Some of these teams with like a 3-4, what I've learned, they've got 3-4 defense with a good pass rush. Sometimes you go 3 wide, 1 running back. If your running back is decent, gets right. And then in the old days, the extra defensive backs are all 0s, maybe a 4. And then you can make your best receiver the extra receiver. Now they got to worry about that guy. It opens up a lot for your offense in the running game and the flat passing. If he's got weak outside linebackers, and you can take some shots deep if he's going to protect against the run. So that's a way to counter it sometimes if you need to. I'm running 4 wide exclusively with my team, and not because I have great receivers. I'll tell you that much. I have terrible receivers. Bad. They're good averages if they catch it. Dennis will tell you, but it's a big if, Dennis. But this defense is intriguing. If the stat fumble wasn't so bad, I'd like this team a lot more. I love Neal Anderson. I like the receivers. Miller's, I wish Miller was better on the long pass wrong. Was there a quarterback that I liked that didn't get taken? Not that I liked, but that I had higher than You can go 50-50 pass run. Miller comes out better. Miller comes out pretty good in my rankings. I just don't like the card. So maybe just stick him in there and see what happens. And pretty good considering we're dealing with the bottom of the barrel. Like I said, once you get past Majkowski, you're in dangerous waters. So opponent returns pretty excellent with the kicks. Not the great of the punch, but there's a lot of that. Not much help in the return game. Sanders has a touchdown, but you still want yardage here. The puncher's not good either. Bucky Scribner. He sounds like a scrub. It's close to Scrubner. Bucky's good. But the kicker is good. 2 to 10, 2 to 10, 2 to 9, 2 to 7, 11 to 12. That 2 to 9, 13 to 22 is big. Because a lot of guys are weak with that. So this team is not bad. I love Neal. I don't like the defense. I don't like the quarterbacks. I think Brian's a pretty good coach. I cannot put the team in the playoffs. I'm going to give them 8 and 9. And we'll see if he does better than that. I think they could fall to 7 and 10. The quarterbacks, I think, are going to hurt him enough with that snap fumble that you cannot avoid. No coaching around a snap fumble. So no surprise, I'm Mr. Negative. I have the league 10 games under 500. 148, 158. So I'll have to make some adjustments. And Anthony, did not answer on the war thing. Okay. But I got the league 10 games under, so I'll make adjustments here. And maybe Dennis Lee Maldado will post it in the Slack channel. All right, guys, that's the show. I went longer than I expected, like usual. Closer to 3 hours. I thought I'd do 2. But I think it was a pretty good show. I'm going to bump up some of these win totals. I'll probably be self-serving, give myself maybe another win since I'm off to a good start. Probably not. Who am I going to give more wins to? Maybe Michael Reeves. Maybe Keith. Maybe Dave Pagic. Maybe Brian. I picked him 7 and 10 just now. That's that cheap one to move 7 and 10 to 8 and 9. Maybe Ron Martin. I'll probably get one. Maybe Mike Nemo. Maybe Gerald. We'll see. That's the show, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night. Bye-bye.